line. Separate us until the end of time. How do you sleep at night? I have to hit the bottle.
Oh, hello! Welcome to another episode of Consider the Following, you peasants. I would first like to apologize for the week delay, as some of us have lives. Apologize for that. I am your emperor for tonight's episode, the famous Asian sensation that drives a Honda Civic with a spoiler and eats nothing but fried rice and ramen. No, I am not PPJ. I am HomeLee. Now, allow me to introduce my servants for tonight's showdown. First, we have the leader of the true grammar police, King Hippo.
Hello, what's up? I'm glad you clarified you weren't PBJ. I actually thought you were Harold. So it's good that you weren't.
Okay, all right. And next, we have the man who tips less than a canoe, and his favorite sport involves getting the quarterback. We have Saucy Jack.
Hello, happy Hanukkah to everybody, and the previous statements were all true.
Yeah, that's cool, Jack. Yeah. But that's
Happy
not as
Chanukah.
cool as the fire crotch story that was told from Cool Whip.
Hey, what up? I'm quite happy, actually, to see you hosting. Finally, I'm going to have my field day with Batman downplaying because the last episode, don't get me started. Christmas has come early for me. What's
I'm
up,
gonna
guys?
regulate that shit anyways.
Okay. Well, there's no Batman topics tonight, so you can hold that Cool Whip. All right, on tonight's show. Oh, wait, I'm forgetting someone. There's that guy that I always body. He's just jealous of my good looks. There's a Fly. You got 10 seconds, roll 2 points.
I don't even know what to say. Thank you for
5
having
seconds.
me on tonight's episode of Consider the Following.
What?
All right, well, Fly took 11 seconds. That's -1 already.
Dude, that's
And-
not even true.
All right, we have a bunch of topics today. Some of these might be a little bit old due to the week delay, but we'll get straight to it. The first topic we're going to talk about is Revolver getting bodied, or actually, no, matchups that are 1-9. Are they actually 1-9 in your opinion? Or should Revolver pick an alt? Or maybe Dave's right. Maybe Revolver's just a baby. What do you guys think? I'm going to start off with Jack.
Zod versus Sex Luthor. The debate that has been raging since Evolution. I don't know that matchup, so I can't personally comment on that. It looks terrible. I've never tried to figure it out from either end, but it looks god-awful. I will say this. If someone believes that they are truly in a 1-9 scenario, like you have one guess at the beginning, and if you are wrong, it is good night, sweet prince, you're never getting back in again, I would actually say that I would be an advocate for having an alt for that. That's not like, 7-3, Green Arrow versus Aquaman or something where it's terrible, but if you have multiple chances to make multiple correct reads and you have to get lucky, but if you grind it out, you can make good things happen. In those scenarios, I always think it's better to stick with your main. But if all the propaganda is true and Lex essentially gets one chance, and if he is wrong, he's locked down for the rest of the game and he can't move, I mean, I guess in that instance, I would advocate using an alt. As far as the Zod thing goes, and I don't know how much anyone else has looked into it or talked to it, but I was told by one particular high-level Zod player when discussing the Zod mirror that he would actually consider counterpicking or using an alt in the mirror even if he felt that he was the better player, because apparently Zod has the exact same issues that Lex has, and whichever Zod gets the first knockdown, the other Zod can just instant ball to victory, and Zod actually can't do anything against himself. So if something like that is real, true, and legit, again, I'm not a Zod player, so I don't know. My instant air balls are fucking top of your jump high. I suck, but if it's all true, then you know what? I guess I would advocate using an alt in that case, and that just sucks for Revolver that his character gets bodied that hard, and he should probably look into another option. That's just my thoughts.
Okay, that sounds good. Fly, what do you think?
Well, I want to know what the real issue is. Is the question based on really the matchup, or is it based on the way Dave was talking about Revolver complaining about the matchup. Because in my opinion, if it is really 9-1, it absolutely requires an alternate to play that matchup, but it doesn't seem like that's what Dave was necessarily complaining about. He was more talking about he was pissed that Revolver was complaining about the matchup. Is that accurate, or am I off?
No, keep going.
Well, you didn't really answer my question. Is that what Dave was what Dave was complaining about?
I believe that, yeah, because it seemed like Dave was comparing it to, hey, Zod gets bodied by Martian, but the Zod players aren't complaining, so Revolver shouldn't complain about Zod. It sounds like was the point that Dave, or that sounded like what Dave's counterpoint was.
I don't know. The whole thing seemed kind of trivial. I felt like the point of what Dave was saying was that it's not 9-1. It's 8-2, obviously. Like, you should know a 9-1 and an 8-2 are not the same thing. And to me, that's just complete stupidity. So if that's the point that Dave was trying to make, then that's retarded. And regardless, in either situation, Revolver should still pick an alternate. And I agree and second everything that Jack said. Next.
Okay.
You have drinks in you, Fly?
Dude, I was at a holiday party for like the last 4 hours.
Oh, man. He's got that
that
eggnog swag.
How did you know? How could you tell there was a drink in me?
One too many reindeer sugar cookies. You know what I'm talking about?
No. I had peanut butter blossoms. Those are good.
That is, you might have to apologize.
I will not apologize for that.
Peanut butter blossoms.
Fly, you just lost the point.
Hold on. As a Jew, I'm not totally familiar with this Christmas fare. What is a peanut butter blossom?
The holiday doesn't matter. It's the sweets that are delicious. It's a peanut butter sugar cookie with a Hershey Kiss in the middle.
Oh, I've had those. They're called peanut. Okay, they need a new name, but those taste pretty good.
It looks like a flower, so it's called a peanut butter blossom.
Why isn't it just called a good cookie? Like, all right,
you could call it both. It goes by more than one name.
All right. Well, those
a rose by any other name is still a rose.
Oh my god.
I'm studying to be an English teacher, and I was offended by that use of Shakespeare.
You should not be.
Okay, all right. Let's get back on topic.
Back to the topic.
Did I really lose a point for that? That was like bonus points for talking about cookies.
Do you want to lose another point, Fly?
I can already tell this is not going to be my night, so let's just keep going.
First of all, your talk of sugar cookies is giving me diabetes, which is bad enough.
Hippo just lost a foot at the beginning of this conversation.
All right,
diabetic comas for everybody.
Back to the topic at hand before my second toe falls off. Well, we have to remember that what we're dealing with here, Dave subscribes to the playing to win school of, I can't do this one thing in this match, 9-1. And similarly, he also is a huge hypocrite, much like his dear friend Matty Schultz. So when he talks about things like that, it's probably partly joking, but like at the same time, like, character's broke, sorry. Either admit it, or just kind of just ignore it. To Revolver, like, crying, he made one topic about it as far as I can remember.
Well, it was the Twitter thing that Dave was going off about.
What Twitter thing was that?
I don't really know, but Dave was talking about how Revolver on Twitter was going off, and it wasn't just TYM, it was more than one medium. Social media,
Revolver was just saying he always ends up with a Zod in his pool.
Well, here's the thing, and okay, one, is it a big surprise when a player loses and complains on Twitter? Is this literally the first time this has happened? Get out of here. It happens constantly. You can't watch PR Balrog play a match without immediately going to Twitter. CD Jr., his tweets get front page. We see it all the time. So of someone going to Twitter and complaining,
do they clog the front page, though? That's the question.
That's true. That's an important question. But and yeah, as far as the thread thing, I think you're right, Hippo. I'm pretty sure Revolver made a thread post Evo, and then he hasn't made one since, I think is what's gone down.
Yeah, in fact, Revolver actually didn't say anything. It was mainly people 2IM reacting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, it wasn't, first of all, it wasn't really Revolver doing the talking. But, like, second of all, it's like, does anyone care that a character has a 9-1 matchup in their favor? Like, does anyone? I don't know why he's so hurt by that. But this goes into more of the. I mean, this goes more into the talk of like, I don't understand when people get mad when they say their character is broke. I mean, I guess I do, because I mean, if you can't win, or like do well, obviously your character must not be broken because you're pretty darn good. So. Yeah, I guess I can see that, but at the same time, it's like it's really poking a nest that really doesn't need to be poked. And that was never, they never asked for the stick to be poked.
Right.
You know what it felt like to me, though? It felt like Dave was making an issue out of something that wasn't really an issue until he started.
Oh, that's a shocker!
Talking
Yeah.
about
Call the press,
it, right?
Get the guy with the little press tab in his hat.
Yeah.
For that. I've never heard of such nonsense.
Wuxtree, read all about it.
Never.
Dave
Yeah,
makes an issue out of nothing.
Extra, read all about it. Dave instigating. Who saw that coming?
Never heard of that before.
I know, but yeah, it's a lot of Peaky Blinders action going on.
Easy now. You do not even blow
Just
up
saying.
Peaky Blinders. That show
We're
is
gonna blow up, and we're gonna blow up one of the worst forum posters. We have to do it using one of the worst names for a television show I've ever heard.
Hey man, the gang is called the Peaky Blinders. What do you want?
Peaky
Screwy
Blinders.
Louise.
A different name.
Oh my god, you're all on blast. I hope a Peaky Blinder comes to your door and cuts
What
you with
is?
their razor
Who
blade
is
head.
Peaky Blinders?
Dude, it's a show. BBC, and now Netflix is running it as a Netflix original
shout out to
series.
BBC.
Dude, it is tight, man.
Dude, I would be more scared of a freaky blender came up to my
Oh my god, I'm done with you. I can't believe I'm gonna say
All
this,
right,
but I know
guys, we can save that for the free time. Cool Whip.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Cool Whip goes.
Well, as far as the matchup goes, I mean, it's one of those. It's probably the only matchup in the game where everybody feels qualified to talk about it because it's seemingly so straightforward. Like nobody goes, "Oh, well, Jack just did that," and I respect that. But nobody else goes, "I don't play Zod, I don't play Lex, so I can't comment on that." Because we saw the video. It's pretty straightforward. If Zod gets his aerosol balls going, there's nothing Lex can do. Basically, that's the matchup. So. Apparently, if we understand correctly, Lex has to make a good read at the beginning, otherwise he's screwed. It instant aerosol balls, trait, laser, all over again, basically. So, I don't care if it's a 9-1 or an 8-2. It's super unwinnable. It's probably the most unwinnable matchup we've seen in an NRS game, simply because of how straightforward it's pretty. The way Lex loses it, again, unless somebody has like a matchup-changing discovery in the future, the way Lex loses it is unlike anything we've seen in an NRS game. I don't want to comment about other fighting games, but in NRS games, I know we've heard comparisons to Sub-Zero Kenshi, Sub-Zero Cabal. I don't think it's the same. The very mechanics of Mortal Kombat makes it not the same because you could at least dash block in that game.
Sub-Zero Cabal is not even close.
I don't want to regulate Sub-Zero matchups. I agree. I don't see that being a 9-1. Kenshi Sub-Zero, I could see it, by the way. I mean, let's put it that way. If Pig and Tom, both in their primes, played a first to 10, I generally would not be surprised if Pig won 10 straight or even 20 straight. So I don't know what that says about the matchup, but whatever. Regardless, as far as this goes, the one faulty... Here's the thing. When Revolver first posted that video, actually it was Last Boy who posted the video, but when Revolver first made the thread, after all the initial cringeworthy talk of, oh, Green Arrow Aquaman is actually the most difficult matchup in the game, which got rehashed recently, which, I mean, don't even get me started on that. It's terrible, but how could this possibly be worse than, what we've seen?
I didn't say that it was. I'm just saying that matchup is terrible.
It's pretty terrible. But, I mean, worst matchup in the game, I think that's a huge stretch. Regardless, after Revolver first made that thread, everybody eventually accepted it. But then when he won that one match against Relaxed State, the narrative was, oh, how could it be 9-1 if in a first to 3 he won a match? Well, he won a match because Relaxed State messed up, so it's based on human error, which probably should not be taken into consideration when discussing matchups. If Relaxed State didn't mess up that one aerial softball, that wouldn't have happened. So the idea that, Lex could win the matchup if he gets it to the corner, the problem is, show me a way for him to get it to the corner other than making a right read at the very beginning of the match. So if your sole chance of winning a matchup is making a right read initially, otherwise you're utterly screwed, that sounds like a 9-1 to me. As far as, the whole M2 Dave thing, it's tough to tell when Dave is trolling and when he's not. Everything with Dave is probably somewhere in the middle. I mean, he obviously doesn't mind pushing an agenda, even half trollingly, as long as it suits him. He plays Zod. Zod is so broken, according to what Ken just said, he 9-1 Zod. That's how broken Zod is. I don't know how that works, but, who cares? Honestly, I don't think this is a big deal, personally. I mean, if patches were still coming along, then yeah, great. We probably would have wanted something to be done about that. At this point, it's one matchup in the game. If I'm Revolver and I want to be a character loyalist, it sucks. But at this point, pick an alt or, sorry about your luck. I mean, hey, I know it's unfair, but at this point, what can we do? So at the end of the day, I honestly don't think this whole talk, I mean, it certainly did not deserve 2 podcasts dedicated to it. It probably doesn't even deserve the discussion we're giving it right now. It's whatever. It's a terrible, terrible match, by far the worst in the game. And unless the Zod player fucks up or the Lex player makes a read at the very beginning, it's pretty unwinnable. What can you do? I don't even understand what Dave is so upset about. Everybody complains about everything. The thing is with Dave is he complains about a lot of shit in the game. So, I mean, if I'm a Lex player, yeah, I know Revolver's gimmick now is to occasionally take a tongue-in-cheek shot at Zod players or Zod, calling him a piece of shit. But hey, can you really blame him? Plus, keep in mind, Indecisive was the one who made that thread, and it was a joke. I'm pretty sure he was joking anyway, giving Revolver props. So I don't get the big deal. Somebody complained about Twitter, and for once the complaints were kind of valid. So I really don't understand what this is all about.
Yeah, I mean, we're ignoring the elephant in the room, the fact that this was used to have Tom justify his playing Sub-Zero again, which was the worst. Literally the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, in another huge shocker, Wuxtree read all about it. It turned into agenda pushing and going through history, which is exactly what we said we didn't want on this show. And look at that, the first time a mic is in front of his face. Right back on it.
All right, I'll stop you there. We shouldn't, that's their podcast. Let them do their thing.
Agreed.
It sounds like a little. It sounds very Ho Chi Minh. Just saying.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right, that was a good topic. Well, it was a kind of expired topic, but Jack, you are in the lead. Hippo and Whip, you guys are tied, and Fly, yeah. Anyways,
What?
Mike, you might be in for
you might be bodied.
I feel like I have done nothing to deserve this treatment, but whatever.
Sounds like it's gonna be a rough one for you today, sir.
That's fine. I'm just gonna go get another drink. It's all good.
Wow, you gave up way too early.
all right.
Would you blame it on the juice? Got you feeling loose?
Yeah.
Would you blame it on Patron that it got you in the zone tonight?
Man, I only had 1 shot of Patron. I had a lot of other stuff though.
That's 1 shot too many. Patron is super
right.
overrated.
It was like the orange flavored Patron. It was terrible.
Yeah, that sounds god
Jamie
awful.
Foxx and T-Pain can relate with you.
Man.
You know what? I think I
alright.
might throw it on with you tonight, Mike. I think I'm going to go grab some JMO after this next question.
Dude, let's do it.
I
Let's do
would
it.
too if I hadn't been drugged by some girl.
Quote unquote drugged.
Yeah, quote unquote. I don't know. She gave me a glass of wine and I had the biggest headache. I don't know what the
Oh my god, you need to wash
Yeah.
your hair too? Sorry, sweetheart, this wine is just going right to my
No.
head. I can't do anything tonight. I'm
Chardonnay. Sorry, darling. It's the Chardonnay talking.
Yeah.
I didn't.
This is a saucy year.
Yeah.
Dude, I
didn't
can't
feel
wait for this to be
tipsy or
featured in a
anything.
weekly roundup.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I didn't feel
alright.
tipsy at all. It's just... By the way, Mike should get an extra point for that weekly roundup reference. I think.
Actually, I agree with that.
Look,
Yeah.
Mike, see, you
See,
can.
I
week,
agree, I
you're
agree as
welcome.
well.
Man.
I
Thank
will
you.
agree with that.
You're
Thank
bouncing
you.
back. Your night's not over early.
It's
All right,
not
Fly.
over.
I'll give
But
you
go
the
get a
chance
drink
to-
regardless.
No, Fly, you're gonna wait. you're about to open up with our next topic and try to get some points.
Uh-oh.
Yes, sir. Yes, Captain.
All right. So low tiers in Injustice. How do players actually know their low tier? Do you think a lot of TYM community just listens to what some players say and they don't test anything themselves, or do they just truly know? What do you think, Fly?
That's an interesting question. I think a lot of... Are you talking about characters or players?
More so characters. Like, what makes them low tier?
So I think a lot of times it comes easily when you look at who are the top placing characters in the first few months of a game. You know, if you think about the beginning of Injustice life, you see Black Adam and Superman just wreaking havoc on the whole cast. And then, oddly enough, you have Green Arrow with Chris G, who manages to place consistently in the top 8. And he is the only character that really hasn't... He's gotten buffed, but is still considered low tier in the meta of the game as it stands today. And he was worse back then. And so it's funny to think about it. I don't know what the right way to consider a low tier character is. I feel like it changes so much, but the player still makes a huge difference. So like a guy like Chris G can make the low tier character like Green Arrow stand out, yet he's only gotten better as time has moved on. He was always low tier from the beginning of the game until now. He's gotten better and he's still low tier. I feel like a lot of it has to do with TYM and the propaganda. I feel like that has to be the way low tier characters are considered, and then over time it just either stands the test of time or it doesn't.
So let's use Joker. He's considered by everyone to be the worst. But then you'll have players like Cork who says, you guys just don't know.
I mean, in a game like this,
because you don't have a lot of people that use Joker, so why do you think they think he's low tier?
Well, right. I feel like in a game like this, Injustice is, I think, more widely played than MK9 was, but still not as widely played as a game like Street Fighter. And even in Street Fighter, you have characters that end up becoming better as time goes on. And Hippo, you can attest to this, right? It wasn't I almost want to say Thunder, not Thunder. T-Hawk. T-Hawk was known as really crap. I know, right? I've had a few drinks.
That's super
that is
racist.
Yeah, you might have to. I apologize to our Native American audience.
I
Especially as
apologize
a
to all of
former
our Native
Knight
American
player,
fans.
That's insanely racist.
I'm
So
sorry,
T-
the guy's from Atlanta. He says a lot of stupid shit sometimes. What do you expect?
I'm from New York, okay?
That's even
Yeah,
worse.
okay. Yeah.
Okay, so
Long
T-Hawk
Island.
was known as a shitty character, right?
Yeah.
And then he ended up getting really good, right?
Now, which are we talking? Super Turbo?
Well, wasn't he like known as low tier, and then somebody showed up with him and like really showed that he wasn't as low tier as he should have been?
Oh, I think he's talking about Evo this year, Hippo.
Is he?
I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm relying on you here, buddy.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Wow,
this, this year at Evo, T-Hawk made some noise, yes, after he got a buff to one of his moves.
So it was only after the buff he made some noise? Dang it.
Yeah.
However,
I mean, there is the age-old example of
the ST example, right?
old, T-Hawk, a different version of T-Hawk and Super Turbo, when people figured out how to use proper option selecting. I mean, his options after a knockdown literally spells doom for some characters, which is true.
It was 20 years later, and he went from being the worst in the game to having...
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So thank you for helping me understand my own analogy.
You're a mess.
Goddamn disgrace.
I don't play Street Fighter, so I have to just,
Then don't reference it.
I'll bring it up then.
That's why I asked you guys to help me. Come on, help me out here.
Dude, I already gave you 1 point. I can't help you further. You're kind of pushing it.
He lost that point already.
I mean,
Okay,
anyways, my point is that characters that are low tier can come back and become better than they were. I don't know. I don't know if that answers the question that was originally stated, but I just feel like there's no right way to determine a low tier because it's all speculation until it plays out over time. And so after time plays itself out, you can figure that out, but it's just not something that's as obvious at the beginning of a game's lifespan.
Okay, I like that you just regained your point. Okay, so next, Cool Whip, what do you think?
Well, I think part of the problem is many characters are underrepresented. I mean, Injustice or NRS games in general are not really. We don't have enough really top level players to really trust when it comes to opinions about certain characters. Trust not just as far as, tournament results, but really trust that, this particular player has granted out these matchups at a high level offline. Because, frankly, the scene isn't that big. So, for example, take if we take it seems like it's an example we always bring up, but it's pretty salient as far as this point goes, so I'll just bring it up. 16-bit and Catwoman. I mean, Catwoman might not be low tier, but she's, let's say, mid tier. We trust his opinion because he's somebody who grants out a lot of her matchups offline. So, when he says she gets bodied by certain characters, you take his word for it, and there's evidence. We see some of it playing out. But who plays the Joker, at least in the US, at a high level offline, grinding up his matchups in order to truly determine? Because ultimately, when we're talking about high tier, low tier, we are basing this on matchups. That's why Martian Manhunter and Aquaman are kind of considered to be the top two characters in the game. That's how we determine tier lists. At least that's how we should determine tier lists. So my question in this case would be, who the hell truly knows what, say, the Joker versus Raven matchup is? I'm just throwing this out of my ass, by the way, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? Like, I'm sure Joker players have an opinion on the matchup, and for all intents and purposes, they might be accurate, they might be correct about it, but that's just one example. If you look at all the low tier characters in Injustice, and I do think they're low tier at least by default, because it's not hard to determine one, because we do understand who the high tier to mid tier characters are. So we end up with, the low tiers pretty much by process of elimination. But what the more interesting point is, though, how shitty are they? Because Joker might be a bottom 5 character. I don't know. Perhaps he is. But does that automatically mean he's terrible? You know what I mean? Does that automatically mean that he can't compete? We don't know that because we don't have a dedicated Joker main, traveling to tournaments and kind of, basing our judgment on his results accordingly. So I think that's the main problem as far as really determining low tier. So yeah, I do think a lot of it is due to reputation and kind of basically you just go on what everybody says and you just repeat it. So some characters might get shortchanged. They might not be as bad as perceived. I'll use a quick example. Sindel and MK9, for instance. She's known as a shitter. She probably is. But, just a month ago or so, I saw this, I don't know who, I think he's called like Oscar Broly or something, Oscar Brawley, something like that. And he's doing like these chest frame levitate cancels. Now, I don't know how significant that is for Sindel, but it's certainly something nobody's been able to do, at least not with that sort of execution before. So that might have changed certain matchups. So we don't truly know because there isn't anybody dedicated to these characters, unfortunately.
Okay, that was good. What about you, Jack? What do you think?
There is a reason. Also, sorry, hold on. Slancha, this is for you. There is a reason that the word tier is a homophone with the word tier, as in what happens when you cry. Oh. Tier placing is all about people crying. They want to cry when they lose to a high tier. They want to cry when their character's a low tier. The reality is, it does not matter. If you're a good enough player, you just have to outplay your opponent. I'm sorry. I don't understand why everyone just, the go-to excuse is, my character's low tier. I don't care. I don't understand why that matters, and I just don't give a rat's patootie. Like, you take all these characters, high tier, mid tier, wherever they are on the matchup chart, but what actually happens is player 1 with character 1 sits down against player 2 with character 2, and they play the match. And you're right, one of the characters might have better options than the other one, but unless it is a 10-0 unwinnable matchup, you've got some form of options. Go ahead and get the job done. I'm sorry, I don't. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. Play your character, love them, figure out everything you can do with them, and go make some noise. I don't. People use it as a crutch, whether they are right or wrong. To go with Cool Whip's Joker example, right? It doesn't actually matter if Joker is low tier or low mid or high mid. None of that actually matters because the public perception is that he is low tier. Therefore, the Joker players have a crutch when they get their backs blown out. His game it's good enough. When he gets to sweep distance, he's got a 50-50, which leads to a hard knockdown with sweep or crowbar, and once he gets you sitting still, you have to deal with all his jump-in bullshit, and his jump-in bullshit is pretty good. It's what he's got. I'm not saying that he's got all the tools to body everyone in the cast, but it's not like he's helpless. So personally, I don't care.
And God help you if he gets you to the corner.
Yeah, and it's just he's fine. So the point is, it doesn't actually matter whether someone is low tier, high tier, whatever. Because if the public perception is that they are low tier, high tier, whatever it may be, then that will always be an excuse or a crutch for why something happened. And it is because we live in a world of excuse makers. No one can own up that the reason that they are getting bodied is because they might not be as talented as the person that's sitting next to them. And I'm sorry that a lot of people can't handle that reality. That's why you will forever suck. That's just that simple.
All right. And Hippo, any closing thoughts?
Well, a lot of you guys said something that does play a lot into it, where it's like the player base isn't big enough to where you can really, for example, if the player base were bigger, you would probably have a lot more really strong characters just played just for that reason. The player base is bigger, but we don't. So right now we kind of have this little, it's not really a bad thing at all that we have characters that can compete, even though they have, really bad matchups. You might run the odds of getting a nice little top 8 or something like that because you don't run into something really bad, which is good. I think that's a good thing. But I don't necessarily agree that, you can outplay the opponent, that of course. But at the same time, I do think some characters, they're better than, a very bad character in MK9 because, in this game, it's more like a stacked couple, 3 to 4 characters. Whereas in MK, some of the bad characters had no shot against the entire top 10, let alone, they had no chance, basically. So that's better, but I still think some of the bad characters are just really bad off in some matches. But they have a chance. They have the shot. So, I agree that the people kind of just listen to whatever people say. And it's because a lot of people, like I said, I've mentioned this before, a lot of people just want to be right. And that's more important. Or they want to sound like they know what they're talking about, which is more important than actually knowing. So they'll say, my character, destroys this character because of this, and that reason. And the reasons usually are shallow, and if you pick at them enough, you can
LOL
get someone to
slide 6'4" Frost.
Yeah, the Ryan Riblets of the world. You can get them to admit that they probably don't really know it. They just say that because. So, it's not really. I think that some people are just they're not justified in their obnoxious crying about it because sorry about your damn luck, as James Storm would say. But I think there is some merit to being my character is really bad and I don't really have a chance, but I'll try. Because, fighting games are hard. It's not, you can outplay everyone, but it's not easy to do that at all.
It's not, I agree, but hold on. Check this out. Cool Whip, known Batman down player, right? But, known Batman down player or not, even I am in agreement that Aquaman is a very difficult matchup for Batman, right? However, and Cool Whip can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would like to think that if Cool Whip ran into, I don't know, let's say me at EVO to make top 8, and I'm like, well, it's Batman, guess I'll bust out my 10th alt Aquaman because it's an advantage matchup. If Cool Whip loses to me, I mean, Cool Whip, are you going to blow up Aquaman, or are you going to blame yourself because you couldn't outplay my shitty alt?
Of course, I'll blow up Aquaman because it will make me look like a better player. No, seriously, no. No, you're right about that. I mean, because in this case, if I'm good enough to be playing to make top 8 at Evo, and I'm playing your 10th alt, then it should no longer be a 7-3 matchup.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because I'm supposedly a very good player who's going to make top 8 at Evo using my main, and you're using your 10th alt. That should be like 6-4 in my favor, by the way. So if I lose that matchup, the blow up is on me.
Then that's my point. Like, if I understand you can't outplay everyone. If you're playing Batman against Aquaman and you run into Theo, yeah, your day's probably over. I get it, but that's not an excuse. You know, everyone, you see it on status updates on TYM constantly. Someone's like, LOL, Black Adam, nothing I can do, or LOL, whatever they just got bodied by online. Dude, random jobber guy online playing a 6-4 in his favor. I mean, if he's beating you, that's on you, man. You got to be able to handle the slight disadvantage matchups if you're a better player. That's all I'm saying. I know you can't beat everyone, but for if Cool Whip can't outplay my Aquaman, then Cool Whip, you know what I mean? Then he needs to look at himself. Where did I go wrong?
So I'm just going to ask HomeLee's question again, though. So how do you know when a character is low tier?
Are you asking me?
It's community perception.
I'm just asking, and I'm asking Jack or HomeLee or Whip. I mean, how do you know? Is it all based on the community?
Yeah, because you don't actually know. Your example, even though you didn't know what your own example was, is a perfect example. Everyone would have told you for 20 years that T-Hawk was low tier, and they all would have been wrong.
Exactly. That's
So,
my point.
Wasn't there a time where the community thought... I mean, I know he got buffed hella, but still, wasn't there a time where the community thought Bane was this absolute shitter?
I mean,
Like,
back at MK9,
possibly the worst in the game?
in MK9, do we not remember the Nightwolf era where he had no losing matchups? And you know what? Like, it's just public perception at the time.
Dude,
everyone's listening.
here's an even better example. Remember, I'm pretty sure it was January 2012. Tom Brady got on... I'm not blowing him up, by the way, but I'm just highlighting a point. He got on KTP. He made a tier list in which Johnny Cage was like 16th. Johnny Cage was 16th on the list. And he was deemed to be... And he was like, there's no reason to ever pick this character because, if you want to rush down, there are better rush down characters. I don't remember what his actual argument was. And everybody... even the point is, I'm not blowing up Tom Brady because even Slips and 16-bit were in agreement. Like, yeah, no, this character is bad. You know what I mean? And it took... Who was the first... I think it was Kerbo that really put him on the map, right?
Sounds
I mean,
right.
and then a lot of people did good with him, obviously. And, yeah, the point is it's always changing. We don't know. It's just... to use, Waffle's favorite phrase, in the current meta, someone is whatever, quote, tier placing they are. But that doesn't mean that tomorrow someone might not find out that, I don't know, if Nightwing hits you with back one flip kick, it's a block infinite, and now all of a sudden Nightwing's top 10. Obviously that's not true, but you know what I mean? Someone could find something like that tomorrow, and everything that we've all thought that we knew was wrong. So it's all dumb.
Yeah, well, that's a really good point, though. In the current meta, I mean, that phrase, when applied to any tier list, makes that tier list more relevant for that time frame. And I think that's the key point here is the time frame in which a tier list is considered. So low-tier characters within a time frame, yeah, that's true. But 3 months from now, it may be completely different. And we have to all be willing to accept that and not hold too hard onto the past.
To answer your question, Fly, I don't think what we should be concerned with, if I happen to main a low tier character, which I do, no, okay.
Oh my god!
No, come on.
You know what? Cool.
That was troll. That was a troll.
You just lost.
Fair enough.
Even
Fair
your,
enough. You know what?
your teammate
I had it
Batman
covered.
downplaying.
I had it coming. But the point is, if I were maining a low tier, what I should be concerned with is not, I want to prove that this character is not low tier. He might be. What I want to prove is this character can compete. So I grant out his matchups. I study his options. I come up with tech or whatever. You know what I mean? So the point is, a character. It's what I want to show. If I actually believe that, if I'm not one of those, my character sucks and that's it. But if I'm an up layer of my character, it's not that, oh, he's potential top 15 or whatever. Like Sonic Fox once trollingly, I don't know if it was trolling actually, but he said that Joker might be top 10. The point is, that's not what we should be concerned with. But, just grind out his matchups. See what he loses, what he doesn't, what can you do in certain situations, what can't you do. Treat him like he wasn't a low tier, basically. Because if you're maining a top 10 character, yet he loses these 4 matchups, if you're a reasonable person, you shouldn't cry about these 4 matchups. You'll just, you'll grind them out and pretty much figure it out eventually. So it should be no different. Granted, I'm not saying it's not harder if you're legit maining a character that loses far more matchups. But at this point, we don't even know if you are, because many of these matchups nobody has any idea about. So I don't know.
Well, I agree. You said at the beginning of this you had a question. Do you have a question about that, or is that like your point?
No, I said to answer your question. I didn't say I have a question.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
All right. That was good. So our standings are, Jack, you are still killing it.
Woo!
Hippo is pretty close, second, and Whip and Fly is tied.
All right, Fly's making some noise. See, Mike, I thought your night was over early, but you've proved me wrong. You're on that trail.
I've had 2 cups of water since then, so
Very nice.
Sobering up.
Fire water, you racist?
No, just regular H2O. Simple.
Very nice.
All right. So the next topic, we'll talk about what we can because I believe some people have not seen it, but we'll go into it and we'll see what we can discuss from this. So the next topic will be the YouTube web series MK Legacy as compared to the old MK movies. Which do you like more? If you saw season 2, was it a build compared to season 1, or was it the other way around? And is the third season Legacy and the MK movie reboot doomed since the director of the first 2 seasons left? I'll start with you, Whip.
All right, let me start with what you've ended your question with. The movie, I've given up on that. I'll believe that when it happens. So, as far as the MK reboot goes. So I'm over that. I am not aware that there are plans to make MK Legacy Season 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there?
I think there actually is plans, yeah.
Oh, but the director left.
The director left.
Okay. Well, even if that ends up happening, I'll say this. I remember when I first saw the trailer, not the MK Legacy trailer. Remember that first trailer? The one that started this whole MK reboot thing.
With Baraka?
It was like a 6... Yeah, it was Baraka, Jax, and like Scorpion was at the police station. Yeah.
Baraka was not like Baraka like we know him. It was Baraka like...
Nobody was like anything we know,
yeah,
basically.
That was tight.
Eventually, it grew on me. I liked it. It was fresh. It was a new take. I didn't mind it. I'm not against experimenting. The director was able to sell me on this one, so that I enjoyed. MK Legacy Season 1, I like that too. I like that that he ended up sticking more to, the initial MK mythos and the original backstories. I love the Scorpion Sub-Zero episodes with, Quan tricking him in the end and all that. I really loved that. I even liked the Raiden episode. That was one of his more experimental, kind of more daring takes because he kind of changed. Basically, Raiden was some sort of at an asylum or something.
Yeah, I actually think the Raiden episode was the best one.
Yeah, it was super tough because it was the one that highlights his vision the best. How kind of he mixes the original MK story with his more modern, gritty.
Well, yeah, it's more
vision,
relevant.
I guess.
It's more relevant to today's society. So I like that.
Yeah, it's more topical, I guess. It's more modern, and it was well executed too. At least the Raiden episode was. On the whole, the Cyrax Sector episode didn't care much for that. The Kitana Melina episode was okay. But on the whole, I enjoyed MK Legacy Season 1. MK Legacy Season 2, I like the Ermac Kenshi stuff. Hated the Liu Kang as emo over Kitana dying the stupid Relax, Don't Do It song. God, that was terrible. Him being upset with Kung Lao and all that. I didn't care much for that, which is kind of bad because that's supposed to be, the main story. was, again, like the Scorpion Sub-Zero stuff, because I'm a sucker for both characters. But on the whole, I thought MK Legacy Season 2 was a downgrade for MK Legacy Season 1. As far as... on the whole, I'd say Season 1 is good. Season 2 is kind of a bill. As far as, the original MK movies, when I was a kid, I watched the MK movie, the original MK movie. I loved it. Obviously, it hasn't aged well, but I would say this. As far as, fighting game movie adaptations go, it's better than Street Fighter. It sure as hell is better than Tekken. It's... I don't want to say it holds up well because it doesn't, but by comparison, it probably does. Even when I watch it today, obviously, some of the effects are terrible. Reptile, I don't... God, that was absolutely awful.
That was the worst.
But it was really terrible. Some of the acting is also horrible. But you know what? The movie doesn't take itself too seriously, so I'm fine with that. Actually, I kind of like it. The second MK movie, what is it? Annihilation or something? God, that was one of those so bad it's good movies. Like if it's on, I'll definitely watch it. If only to hear Sendel tell Kitana, "Too bad you will die," because that's one of the worst lines in movie history. It's absolutely terrible. The whole, find your animality bullshit. Oh my God, that movie needs to apologize, by the way, but I'll watch it anytime it's on. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's like they pretty much went with, okay, UMK3 was tight. Let's cram in as many characters as we can for no reason and as many fight scenes as we can. Smoke throws missiles for some reason, which would be Enter Dave's worst nightmare, by the way. You had so many random fight scenes that I can't even remember. Melina shows up in the desert out of nowhere for no reason. Here's the thing. They don't even introduce them. They don't even give you names. You pretty much have to have played the games to kind of figure out who these characters are. Like, Cyrax shows up for no reason, bodies Jax and Sonya until Jax starts punching the camera. I can't believe I'm doing play-by-play of these, but I've watched that movie way too many times, by the way. So yeah, that movie's a huge pill, but it's kind of awesome at the same time. I don't know how to explain it.
All right, that was really good. You gained a lot of points there. What about you, Hippo?
Legacy Season 1, I kind of agree with Cool Whip where that original teaser I was really kind of into. When you had Scorpion in the police office and Jax was telling him about all this stuff. I thought that was really cool. And I didn't mind the early Jax, Sonya, Kano stuff that was going on. I thought that was really cool. The Johnny Cage stuff was pretty funny too. And then after that, it kind of lost me. When they got into the mystical stuff, it really, I think, took a sharp turn for the worse. It wasn't done very well. It was done... with the exception of Raiden, I felt it wasn't done very without that kind of, wink wink, this is kind of silly thing that I would have expected, so that was unfortunate. And then I think Season 2 definitely epitomized from what I only saw one of the episodes. I didn't see the full thing, but it felt like it was taking that same route where maybe a little too into itself. It is Mortal Kombat at the end of the day. That's why I think the first movie is still kind of endearing to this day. It's pretty bad, but at least it has a sense of, it's fun and it doesn't take itself too seriously. And, a reptile, a little lizard thing goes into a statue and a man from out of nowhere goes, reptile. Why does he do that? Why? Yeah. Hippo, why? You just got 2 points for that. Yeah, why would out of nowhere? I would love if, he walked up to, hi, my name's Johnny Cage. Hi, I'm Liu Kang. Liu Kang. And I wish that would happen, but it doesn't. Why didn't he do that for everyone? When that guy came up to fight Goro, Charles Barkley. By the way, was that Sir Charles in that movie? He got bodied.
That wasn't Sir Charles, but he looked just like him.
I know. He'd be like, Look, man, I gotta fight the guy with 4 arms. I got no chance.
He's a knucklehead.
Yeah, I ain't about to fight the 4-arm knucklehead. I gotta get back home. Now, for some reason, I'm making him sound like Muhammad Ali.
The worst part about it is we were supposed to buy that Johnny Cage and Sonya were devastated.
Oh, they were emo. That Al got
him for a total of 2 minutes. He had no screen time. Yeah, they were like, Sonya.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I noticed how Al's only landed hit was the Scrubs best. He got a jump in. He got that jump in hard kick.
Jumping kick.
Yeah. And he was trying to mash out a sweep, but he couldn't get it in time. By the way, his defense was so bad. Goro was spamming 2 hits back and forth. He could not block. The dude was free. Dude, I'm sorry he got freed up and went to Shang Tsung's eyeball, but By the way, does he come back as like? I wonder if near the end, like what if he ended up causing Shang Tsung's death? Shang Tsung's about to land that final fireball, and all of a sudden this black cataract comes out of nowhere, and he's like, ah! It was Al from the grave taking his eyesight. But yeah, I think Annihilation obviously is just bad, and Annihilation doesn't have that same sense of fun. A little too self-serious. The tattoo thing is awful.
Wow.
That stinks.
Terrible.
If you guys don't remember, there's this running angle of like a tattoo on like the upper left shoulder, the Kurt Angle, and it's like it's just this really whack like thing where they're like, look, they got the tattoo. Like Cyrax has one, and he's a robot. It makes absolutely no sense.
And then when they die, it just disintegrates.
It goes away. Yeah, it stinks on ice. And I don't want to give too many props to it, but I think Street Fighter Assassin's Fist so far is the best adaptation of like a fighting game web series. That has, because Street Fighter, again, is also, I mean, you're trying to teach people that you can jump 80 feet in the air with an uppercut and it kills people. So I think they know that though, and the way they do it doesn't come off as dumb. Like they really try hard to sell, and also it's tongue in cheek. I mean, Yoshinori Ono is in it; like he's actually in it. And there's a lot of other little great references. Like for example, one time they're super happy because Ken's father sends them a Mega Man 2, which not only puts a time frame on it, but it's just funny. Like they're playing Mega Man, and Goken's like, "Is that game good?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's pretty good." So yeah, that I think it was done really well, and obviously I'm sure they had higher production values since they were actually sponsored by Capcom. So, but yeah, I don't think MK Legacy is bad. I do think it's not shocking that this director left. I feel like because season 2 to me, from what I read, it seemed like a gross departure from what they originally were going for. So I don't know if the movie's ever going to come out, but if it does, I have a feeling it probably. If it has that same self-serious tone, I probably won't be that into it.
Okay. I'll let you know now, Hippo. You totally killed that round. Fly, what about you, man?
So, the best thing I remember from the old Mortal Kombat movies, the first thing was when Sub-Zero was fighting that random person and froze him and then shattered him. That stuck with me, and that was the most awesome thing for me.
Oh, that super ripped chopper?
Yeah, and he just like froze him and shattered him. Like,
dude, his abs were oiled.
Dude, it was so tight. That was that to me. Okay, I wasn't a fan of Mortal Kombat back when I first saw that movie. I remember seeing it and I was like, this movie kind of sucks, but that part is tight. And then I started to become a much bigger Mortal Kombat fan as time went on, and then I ended up remembering Liu Kang turning into a claymation dragon, and then they lost me. They completely lost me. So MK Legacy for me totally kicked the shit out of the first Mortal Kombat movies. Even though it was a web series, and there wasn't a lot of the episodes didn't really go together that well. I feel like, you had a Raiden episode, you had a Cyborg episode, you had a Kano episode, a Cage episode, but they didn't really flow as well as a movie would have flown. So, I don't know. I feel like, even though it was a YouTube series, they did a better job of depicting the Mortal Kombat universe. However, they had some good things in the first Mortal Kombat movies, like, Sub-Zero shattering a person by freezing them. That was fucking tight. And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Jack, I know you said you haven't seen Mortal Kombat Legacy, but you've seen the old MK movies, right?
This is where I go straight into the shitter in today's contest. Yeah, in between, One Tree Hill reruns and my Dawson's Creek posters that I stare at constantly, I did not make time for MK Legacy. I do know that there were some cool people being like actors, like some dude from like Naperville, Illinois, which is a suburb right outside of Chicago. So hometown props. But I've never seen him, so I can't comment. So I'm gonna say, thrill. No, I'm gonna say it's gotta be. I'm gonna say it's gotta be better than the movies, and here's why. Even without seeing them, that I feel okay about that. The original Mortal Kombat movie is only cool because it's the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Yep.
Like,
It's true.
dude, I get it, the era and stuff, but I mean, would anyone really be able to tell the difference if they were not familiar with Mortal Kombat between a Gene Simmons workout video and the first Mortal Kombat movie? Like, the outfits these...
I mean, okay, come on, man. It's not that bad.
Dude.
By the way, did you mean Richard Simmons? That's a
Oh,
huge
yeah, I did
backup.
mean Richard Simmons.
Dude!
And Gene Simmons is one of my
These
people.
are people, yeah.
Yeah,
are you
Gene Simmons is
talking
my
about?
people. That is a huge
Dude,
blow.
you know you're going to get a letter tomorrow that's like, I was offended by my recent...
Yeah.
Consider the following.
I meant Richard Simmons. But seriously, take Sonya and just drop her into a Richard Simmons sweating to the oldies video. You couldn't tell the difference. No one could. So
You didn't love her fighting a tire of extremely short shorts and a tank top?
yeah, that
Hello,
really
Barbie.
wasn't
Did you miss
getting
me?
it done.
Which,
for me.
by the way, she came on the island in her cop uniform. Where did she get...
Yeah.
Did Shang,
Yeah, she wasn't carrying any.
did Shang Tsung just roll and be like, I have...
I mean, at least you had Raiden. I mean, he's the Highlander. That's tight. So, but yeah, I thought, the only reason that movie is good is because it's Mortal Kombat, but the actual movie itself is doo-doo butter. And Annihilation, I have only seen clips because I have never been able to stomach more than 5 to 7 minutes at a
You
time.
need to
It's
watch
terrible.
it. No, you
I
absolutely
can't,
need to watch that.
dude. I've tried.
It's not
I've
good.
tried it sober. I've tried it with friends. I've tried it drunk. I've tried it under the influence of other types of narcotics. I cannot do more than 5 to 7 minutes at a time. So MK on film, not. I'll stick to my One Tree Hill reruns.
By the stay for Shiva's 10-second screen time. The day's
Shiva-
over.
Yeah. Oh, and Rain gets hammered. Like, Rain gets hammered into some well, I guess. I don't know. It's like a fire.
I think that was Ermac, actually.
Sorry, he's like,
No. It was Rain. Ermac
Okay,
survived.
okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Rain was supposed to be the general, and he was
Oh, yeah,
replaced
that's
by
right, yeah.
Sindel. I don't know.
That's right.
Shotgun
Yeah,
has a
Ermac-
purple fetish.
Dude, you remember this movie way too well. I don't remember this movie at all.
What do you
I
guys
told you
think
I
of
watch
this
it every
article?
single time it's on. Dude, I have kind of like a concept I live by. I love everything that I hate. So if I hate something
What?
extremely, if I hate something like vociferously, I can't stay away from it. It's kind of like arguing with James MK. You know what I mean? It's sort of like, it's so bad.
You might want to get that
I'm
checked.
attached to it.
That sounds. I'm sure a therapist would have a lot of things to say about this problem that you have.
That sounds like
Sorry.
Alrighty.
Hey, dude, I'm just pouring my heart out.
That'll
one
be
other
enough
thing I
for
did
this
want to...
topic. Oh,
Well,
go ahead.
wait. One thing I wanted to
ahead.
mention. The music is really good for Mortal Kombat 1, the movie. And I remember one time I was in, I want to say it was 5th grade, and I was at a talent show. Like, you had to watch it. Like, you were not seated into watching it. And
Whoa.
these girls... I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
And these girls were going to do a dance routine. And I noticed all it said for the song in the pamphlet was Reptile. Like the song. And I was like, I wonder what that could be. That sounds weird. And sure enough, they're like, and now these two girls dancing to the song. These girls come out, and then the first thing you hear is Reptile. And you hear I started laughing really hard, really obnoxious.
Do they defy gravity the way Liu Kang did in that fight?
No,
But
they
I have
also
I have-
at the end they didn't take like a lizard and step on it and go like ah!
yeah, and we're there like cockroaches and bugs and shit. By the way, I have one quick story.
He bumps a lizard.
Yeah, I don't know. I have one quick story about that. The first time I watched that movie, I was like 7. We watched it on an old VHS tape that was totally legal, by the way, obviously. So, one of those kind of bootleg VHS tapes. So the colors sucked ass, right? So I was watching it with my parents, and they had no idea about Mortal Kombat. But I freaked out when Sub-Zero first showed up. So when Reptile shows up, the colors weren't clear. So we all thought it was Sub-Zero back from the dead for some reason. I guess it was Baihan. So for 3 consecutive years, because that was all I was watching. I was watching on that same VHS tape. I thought, Liu Kang fights Sub-Zero another time until I finally watched it.
Name didn't clue you up.
No. For some reason, I never actually. Reptile. No, dude,
literally says.
Hold on,
Reptile.
Dude, you gotta you gotta take into account sound quality. Keep in mind, I'm telling you, it's a VHS tape, a completely illegal VHS tape in Lebanon in the 90s. Dude, it's a miracle it made it here.
Can you guys please level up your bootlegging?
Yeah, you're bootlegging.
Since then we have. It's absolutely amazing, by the way.
Dude, I've got all sorts of homeless guys I could export to you to help you with that bootlegging.
There's a Palestinian guy here who has the most amazing bootleg. Like Interstellar, it's almost as good as watching it in IMAX. I don't understand how that works. And the dude has these movies like 3 days later and sells them for $1. So there. Step your game up, Chicago.
I mean,
wow.
I don't even understand why bootlegging's still a market. I'll just go to the internet. What the hell?
Some people gotta make a living, man. Dude, you can't fault a Palestinian living in the camps. In the ghetto camp.
In
the
sand huts, as you will.
We're getting off topic. All right. I'll let you guys know there was actually bonus points awarded if someone had mentioned that Kung Lao from MK Legacy was casted. The actor was the Iron Chef host.
Oh, that's awesome! It was
really,
yeah,
dude. That's tight. That guy's
the guy that's like, I like cuisine.
Yeah, dude, that guy's in Hawaii 5-0, man. He's tight.
If someone had mentioned that, they would have got a whopping 5 points.
Damn.
But instead, you all lost a point for not mentioning that.
Damn, pack up.
Whatever.
So I'm taking
Doesn't it defeat the purpose when everybody loses a point? It's kind of like you haven't done anything. Just
no.
You're supposed to be good at math.
Cool. Wait, you're about to lose another point.
Bill Rap Iron Chef's a good show, man.
It is a good show. All right.
That's what I did tonight for my Christmas party. We did like a Iron Chef kind of thing.
Dude, that's awesome. Why did I not get an invite?
Because you live in Chicago.
That's a blow up out to come down.
And you're a Jew.
That's also a blow up. We like to, unlike Lebanon, we're all friends here.
Oh, well, touche.
All right, so for this week, we are bringing back, well, it's not like we're getting rid of it, but the Bill or Thrill of the Week.
We've actually done that every week. It's not a bring back at all. You're a jobber.
I know, that's what I just said. You just lost a point.
Thank you.
You lost a point.
Confirmed. HomeLee, Bill.
Man. HomeLee, you going to take that?
Point.
You are a Bill Menudis.
Oh, God. Jack, you're actually at the bottom of the list now. You went from the top to the bottom.
I like it on the bottom. It's fine.
All right.
That doesn't shock me one bit.
I'm a power bottom. I generate the force.
Sure you do.
Guys, stop. All right. This character is widely viewed by the community as possibly a top 10 character. He's really good. However, this past NEC, we see him fail to break top 8, and we haven't seen much from him lately at all, besides winning one Texas local, I believe. Bill or Thrill this week is Sinestro. I'm going to start this off with Hippo.
Well, I'll spoiler my answer first. Enormous thrill. So Sinestro, if we look at the characters that are good in the game, and I break it down, the way I've always broken it down is characters that are really favored in the game there's 4 that to me are above all reproach, which is the common top 4 of Martian, Batgirl, Aqua, and Zod. Those 4 could do whatever game plan they want, and they'd still be good because they're broke. Like, Aquaman is not a heavy 50-50 character, but he's just broke, so he works out. Same with Zod, things like that. Then, the next best characters would be characters that can make you in my opinion, can make you guess with very, very little risk reward. Like, the risk reward is pretty skewed in their favor. Or there's no way out other than just plain guessing. So I kind of lump in that same area of like Bane, Batman, or Bane's not Batman, Bane's Superman and Sinestro, because
Had a heart attack.
yeah, I know, right? Those are characters that they kind of just, when you're down and you have to guess, they don't leave a lot of options to get out. Oh, well, I mean, Superman will knock you down and do a dive bomb, and it's legitimately a guess, and it's very difficult, and if you get hit, you might die. And then you have Sinestro, who will hit you, and it's just like Batgirl. It's gonna do far less damage. Even if you're in the corner, you're gonna do less damage and stuff like that. But the principle is the same. You can do a lot of, like, Sinestro technically has a lot of stuff that's pretty unsafe. But if you think about it, and I'm sure this is the way Fox plays Batgirl, the reason why he will do run up Shoryuken and jump backwards and teleport is because if he doesn't do it, or if he misses it, he's going to lose, maybe 35 to 40%, which, that sucks. But at the same time, if he had hit, it would have been an endless cycle of guessing for him that would have been very, very safe to do. So Sinestro, while he doesn't have the broke corner damage or the legitimate, can read a fireball and do it and get a, very good on hit, hard to block mix up. He still does have the threat of, if he hits a back one two, if he hits a down two, he can get a very good situation for himself that you really don't have a way out of. And he can really convert it, even if off an air axe, which is also a really good move. So it's like, he has that same risk reward factor of, you could do kind of goofy shit like jump a lot and do air axe. And if one of them hits, you get, unseeable 50-50. It's pretty darn good. And then the trait on top of that, where, on some stages he literally becomes unapproachable because of the way he can control, like, an interactable behind him, as well as, keeping a fear blast on the screen. His space control is better than Batgirl's, but he doesn't have that same explosive damage or the really strong, jump-ins, things like that. Although air axe is pretty darn good. So to me, he's an enormous thrill. And I think I think the downplaying era kind of is over. I mean, playing to win can say what he wants. But he's very one-dimensional in his play style. It's not a shocker that he didn't play top 8. So, whatever.
All right. Fly?
I mean, can I disagree with what Hippo said? Absolutely not. He is a thrill of all thrills. He is a great character. I mean, damn it. This character is kind of bullshit if you think about it. He is of the top 6 characters that Hippo listed. So, you've got the top 4, like Zod, Batgirl, Aquaman, Martian, and then you've got, like, the next 4. And he is, top 8, if not top 6. He's a great character. I don't know if there's even a debate to be had here. Cowboy is extremely good. He seems to be almost the measuring stick for a lot of other top players playing to win. He has historically had good showings, although recently not as much. I think if you're doubting whether he can place or if he's a good character, you're stupid, and you should recheck your game.
Okay. Jack.
Sinestro is a super thrill. There is nothing Bill status about him at all. When 1.06 came out, I told everybody that would listen, and yeah, I'm totally popping off and feeling myself, but I don't care. I told anybody who would listen that forget everything else that happened in that patch as far as buffs go. For nerfs, yeah, Superman and Black Adam was huge. But for buffs, the biggest buff in 1.06 was safe back 1-2 for Sinestro. And I still stand by that. That was unreal for that character. You are talking... Okay, Injustice is a game where the complaint, since drop date, and it is a valid complaint, is the way movement works. Long dashes, no MK-style dash blocking. Essentially, the game comes down to, the footsie game is get into jump distance and you take your guess. Are you going to jump? Are they going to jump? Are they going to do something in footsies? Are you going to do something in footsies? Who's going to throw out their long-range normal? Blah, blah, blah. Sinestro dominates that against almost the entire cast, except maybe for like Martian and Aqua and Batman when he has bats. Not when he doesn't, but when he does. I mean, it's pretty limited, the characters that regulate Sinestro in that range, because back 1-2 is ridiculous. Sinestro falls into that category of characters that it's not about the generic, stereotypical overhead or low 50-50. He is the class of character where you, as the opponent, are afraid to move because he outranges whatever you're doing in normals. His anti-air is very strong, and when he's right, most of the things that he does lead to his vortex, which is, the unseeable guess of jump 3 or air X. On top of that, if he has a scenario that doesn't lead him into his vortex, because I know not every convert gets it, it's just a lot of them, but even in the rare instances where he hits you in a way that he's not going to get his vortex, he still gets to end in a combo giving his trait charge. And Sinestro with trait is a motherfucking powerhouse. When he has trait out, he is not only inapproachable because of his trait, but he is also an offensive juggernaut because he can do whatever he wants for that window when he has trait, and he doesn't even need to use the trait shot. It's just the threat being there is enough that you are, as the opponent, afraid to hit buttons. It is crazy. Every time he jumps, a wise player that I know has referred to this as a dive kick style offense, and it makes sense. If you get rid of the mental image of a dive kick style offense is a character that when they jump at you can do something to change their trajectory to beat your traditional anti-air. Well, Sinestro has that. Anytime he jumps at you, even if you're not already in his quote vortex, he has the option of air axe or jump in attack. So every time he jumps, you could be essentially guessing for your life. I understand that a vortex gives you a 50-50, and you have half an opportunity to get out of that if you guess right, but the reality is you could also lose your entire health bar, and that, as the opponent, is insanely scary. Further, unlike Batgirl, Sinestro's vortex is not only 100% safe, it's actually, generally speaking, advantage on block. The jump 3 is advantage on block, and the air axe at certain heights is advantage on block, or at worst, safe. Batgirl, the overhead version, can actually be punished by some characters. Not a lot, but even if it's not a character that can punish it, she's still hella negative. And if you look at it from a turn-based game, Batgirl's turn is done, and now it's your turn. When you block Sinestro's vortex, Sinestro's turn is not over, even if he doesn't have trait. And when he does have trait, it is always his turn. And his zoning, by the way, it's fine. I get it. It's not instant or oddballs. It's not something that completely shuts you down and you can't move anymore. But his zoning is still good. It's not exactly anything to sneeze at, a 9-frame fireball. That character is insanely good, and I would like to think that the downplaying era is over. Even Wound Downplay Cowboy admits that the character is extremely strong and just has a few problem matchups. I will say that it's possible that one of his problem ones is actually Batman, so you down players can hold that. But
no, I actually agree with that. Batman beats Sinestro. In
the grand scheme of things, though, Sinestro, because of the way the mechanics and the engine of Injustice works and the way that movement works, the combination of his down 2, his zoning, his back 1-2, and the fact that all of those, well, not the zoning, but the down 2 and the back 1-2 can potentially lead him into taking your entire health bar or allowing him to charge trait and then you really can't move. It's ridiculous to think that character is not a huge thrill. Sinestro's a really strong character and probably borderline broken.
I mean, his vortex, is there a way out of his vortex that he can be punished? I mean,
no.
So that's
no punishing.
And if you talk about his axe being borderline plus on block and his jump 3 being plus on block, I mean, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's a vortex. It's a meterless vortex into plus frames. That sounds pretty good in my book.
Okay. All right, Cool Whip, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I think part of the problem with Sinestro. We haven't seen as much of it as off late, so I don't want to be too harsh here, but the best two players, one is, I think Hippo touched on this. Not only is he, I mean, Playing to Win is a great player, by the way, but his talking points about Sinestro are extremely limited and one-dimensional, and just, it's not dissimilar to him to Dave. So a lot of, take whatever he says with a grain of salt. I'm not saying my opinion about the character counts for more. Now, obviously, he's a great player, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out that, his view is extremely narrow. As far as Cowboy goes, I guess to be a serial down player, you have to commit 3 crimes. So we'll wait for MKX to call Cowboy a serial down player, but he's well on his way. The thing is, a lot of what he says, as far as Sinestro's losing matchup goes, as far as at least the character he loses to, aren't wrong. He does lose to Aquaman, probably his toughest matchup. He does lose to Martian, probably loses to Batman, maybe Doomsday. But I mean, first of all, if your main complaint is that a character loses to Aquaman and Martian Manhunter, well, get in line. That pretty much applies to most characters in the game. So you have those two and maybe 2 other difficult matchups, really? That's the struggle? So it's not so much that he's wrong, these are losing matchups, but the extent of the complaint, considering how good the character is, and considering these are only 4 bad matchups, 2 of which being the best 2 characters in the game, it's pretty ludicrous to complain as much as he does. I mean, let me put it that way. One of the talking points is, his zoning's not as good. I agree, not as good as perceived initially at least, but that doesn't exist in vacuum. His zoning, once you kind of combine it with his footsie tools, his ability to dictate range, becomes pretty damn good. I mean, back 1-2 might generally be one of the best strings in the game. His down 2 is pretty, his down 2 beats Batman jumps 2. That pretty much is kind of a barometer to test how good an anti-air is. It beats it 90% of the time. Back 1-2 is a ridiculous string. His trait actually reminds me of Batman's trait. Not as good because it doesn't recharge automatically, but pretty much once he has it, you have to respect him even more, actually, than you have to respect Batman's trait. It gives him interactable control. It gives him pressure. Like, one thing about Sinestro and the whole, I have no option thing is, once your trait is out, you can pressure pretty much for free. And I agree with Jack, actually, using trait in pressure is kind of counterproductive. You want to keep it there in order to force your opponent to respect it. But not only does it give you pressure, it covers your ass if you lift strings. It punishes. It works a lot like Batman's bats, to be honest. Again, great footsie tool. You have, obviously, the drawback, again, is you have to charge it. You can't cancel strings into it. It's on block, obviously. But on top of that, every jump in from close range, like if you get it down 1, you pretty much have a vortex if you get it down 1 on hit, because your opponent has to respect whatever you do next, and then you pretty much can do, jump in 3 or, the air axe thing. So when you're near him and it's sort of his turn to attack, you're terrified. He has so many ways to open you up. Some melee characters can't do shit against him. Like, again, back 1-2 is absolutely ridiculous. His wake-ups are whatever. I agree with that. But, again, it's the extent... Like, okay, look at how much Cowboy has complained about the Batman matchup. Like, it's probably a losing matchup. It's a 6-4. There's no reason to complain about it that much. I mean, Sinestro wins the zoning, but I agree it's not that difficult for Batman to get in. Once you're in footsie range, if you have traits, yeah, it's bad for Sinestro, because traits even punish... I'm pretty sure they punish back 1-2 on block. If you're on point, at worst, you get free pressure. He can't even do back 1-3 into Anarchid. You punish that as well. I agree, it becomes pretty difficult. But at the same time, even then, I mean, part of Batman's pressure is jump 2, so you can down 2 it. The whole I have no option. Remember when Cowboy created that thread about shortening the recharge time for Sinestro's trait, and he called the Batman matchup 3-7? Like, come on, dude, give me a break. This is not even about Batman, it's about the extent of the complaints. Doomsday, Batman, like, these are 2 damn matchups. At this point, Aquaman and Martian, that's not even worth bringing up, because most characters lose to them anyway. So you have the character with such ridiculous tool set that complement each other. I mean, think about it. Great footsies, great anti-air, decent walk-back speed, interactable control, good zoning. What more could you possibly ask for? Oh, and damage and vortex, 50-50s. Unpunishable, safe. which makes his jump-ins good, because his jump-ins, again, in vacuum aren't that good, but as Jack pointed out, the fact that you can kind of alter your jump and make your opponent guess makes him pretty damn good. So what does this character really lack, and what the fuck are people complaining about? I really hope this is over, by the way. Huge, huge thrill.
All right. Awesome. And so the standings are right now, Hippo is way past you guys. Jack, you actually came back and you're tied with Fly now.
Woo!
And
You guys can all hold that.
You're second. All right. So our next topic. So it's been announced there's going to be no console exclusive character for MKX. However, most likely there will still be a guest character. In your opinion, what do you think goes behind the logic of picking a guest character? Or should they even have a guest character, or just have more MK DLC characters? And in your opinion, who would you like to see as a guest? And I'll go with Jack.
Well, as far as the console exclusive thing, I mean, I don't know if anyone would disagree. I think that's great. I thought the Kratos thing was really dumb in MK9.
Yep.
Because that... Go ahead. Oh, HomeLee, were you about to say something?
That wasn't me.
Oh, I thought someone was. My bad. Yeah, I thought the Kratos thing was silly. When you're looking at trying to make a competitive fighter, I mean, that obviously blows that out the window. Now, in fairness, if it makes money, it makes money. But for my personal opinion, I don't want to see it because it's just silly. However, and a lot of people might disagree with me that are maybe really into the lore or something like that, I think guest characters are super cool. I think it's really entertaining. Freddy in MK9, I thought it was awesome seeing him get integrated into the MK lifestyle. You've got Freddy Krueger and you've got this image of him in your head, and now you add like fatalities and stuff. I thought that was really awesome. And even Scorpion in Injustice, I understand how a lot of people had beef with that, but I thought it was cool, and I also thought they did a really great job. I guess I would think differently if NRS did a shit job with Scorpion. But the character, I'm not talking about his tier placing, I'm just talking about from what you see with the character. I think his animations are cool, his strings are cool, his intro is awesome coming from Shao Kahn's arena. I thought that was super tight. Slips doesn't agree with me, but I think his super looks cool when he whips the chains and stuff. I just thought they did a really good job. So I'm all for guest characters as long as they're not being split between, as long as no console exclusive baloney. As far as what I think goes into it, I think it's pretty simple. It's just whatever they think is going to move product, whatever they think is going to make money, which is what they should do. Whenever you are trying to figure out any characters that go into a fighting game, I mean, you're just trying to push products, and the more product they push, the more we, as the competitive consumers, can hopefully get patches and updates and things like that because they've got more money to throw around. So I think that they're just going to look at what they think is going to move the most financially, and I think that's a good idea. Now, as far as who I would like to see, that is hard. My initial thought, because obviously people talk about this all the time, was that because we've just done Injustice and because they've done MKDC before, it would be cool to put a DC character in as a guest. However, I don't know if it would work moving a DC-style character into that MK world with, fatalities or brutalities or anime, whatever they choose to do in MKX. I don't know if that would work out, although you could argue that worked with Kratos, but so I'm not really sure who I would like to see put in. I think Freddy fit perfectly, so I guess my initial thought would be some form of character that can fit with what Mortal Kombat brings, someone who is violent in their own way or something like that. So maybe if they could find another cool killer from the movies, someone that's just pure evil, or I'm not a comic book guy, so maybe Hippo can correct me. Maybe there are some DC characters that it would be okay to put into the MK world. I would think that there's not, but again, what do I know? I'm not a comic book guy. If there is, I think that would be awesome, because that would just keep with this theme that they've got running. I think that would be super cool if you could put someone that was completely brutal and they would fit in just fine. But overall, to answer your question, I'm totally down with guest characters.
Okay. So I also noticed you mentioned brutalities. Are you confirming that's going to be an MKX?
I'm confirming that the return of friendships and brutalities will be back. Yes, no, I just, I don't know what characters they could put in that would fit that. Man, what are you going to be if you couldn't troll me about my knowledge?
All right, Fly, what do you think?
Well, I remember a time when I bought Soul Calibur 4 because Darth Vader and Yoda were in it, and that was really cool for me. So I can see why the guest character thing is really a cool lure for some players. When it comes to Mortal Kombat, being the kind of fanboy that I am, I feel like I would prefer if they kept DLC to an in MK universe DLC. So if let's say Scarlet or Rain or some other MK characters were not included in the roster, I would be much more excited for them to be MK exclusive DLC versus cross genre DLC. Right, like I wouldn't want to see someone from the Halo universe come in or someone from Star Wars or anything like. Freddy was cool and kind of fit that kind of gimmick for MK9, but I would prefer it still to be more MK related, if it's my preference. Although coming from who I was and when I bought Soul Calibur 4, I can see why that's a thing. So I can't fault NRS if that's the direction they choose to go. But it's interesting to, try to think of it from the fanboy perspective and who I'd want to see, but then also knowing, hey, we got to push product here. We got to make some money, and who is going to be the most popular DLC? And, I mean, I could see Jason Voorhees being a very popular DLC character, just like
It's true.
Freddy was. And that'd be awesome. I'd buy him, just like I bought Freddy. So that's my perspective on it.
So if they were to go with guest characters, who would you like to see, Fly?
I think a horror movie character that Warner Brothers does work with, like Jason, would be pretty tight. But if I had to pick a guest character, I don't know. I think Predator would be awesome. Like the rumors of that had come up a few months back, and I always thought that would have been super tight. And I was always a Predator fan, from the old movies and the Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator movies. So I think that would be my pick.
Okay. And what about you, Cool Whip?
Well, I'm happy about the console exclusive thing. I mean, I was a fan of God of War, huge fan actually. I think Kratos works in the MK universe. But God of War has a lot of gore and stuff like that, so he worked. But personally, I never really cared for him in MK. I have it on PS3, by the way, so I have Kratos. But for some reason, I just probably never even played him. So yeah, the less console exclusive stuff, the better. Just for universal, God, what's the word? Universality? Is that even a word? Whatever.
Nope. Not a word.
I'm pretty sure it's not, but
Hippo,
yeah,
check it.
To make it more universal, basically.
No.
As far as guest characters, selfishly, like from my perspective, if it were up to me, I obviously would prefer something within the MK universe. So, I prefer all DLC characters to be MK, but it would be kind of disingenuous to really act like, I'm oblivious to why they would want a guest character. Obviously, Boone explicitly mentioned it many times that the best-selling DLCs in both MK and Injustice, and MK9 and Injustice, were Freddy and Scorpion, the two guest characters. So obviously, in that regard, NRS know what they're doing. They're probably not going to throw something just randomly out of their ass without knowing that, yeah, it will sell. I mean, Scorpion was pretty much a given. That was going to sell huge. Freddy, I thought, was a calculated risk, but it worked. A calculated risk not because Freddy is not a popular character, just because, it's pretty surreal or odd seeing him in Mortal Kombat, yet it worked. I think we can always trust the NRS to execute these things well, as far as at least, making a character cool. You can say whatever you want about them, as far as, balancing games, that sort of bullshit. But when it comes to making shit cool, they're the best out there.
I mean, Nightmare Stands was pretty fucking tight. With the dream drop from Freddy,
absolutely.
Dude, Freddy Krueger was a good design.
Best throw in the game, man. Shh, dude, that was tight.
Oh my
God.
the
shooting. Even when you baby Freddy, it's awesome as hell.
Yes, it was. And the fatality throwing you in the furnace. Oh my gosh, they really did a good job with Freddy.
They absolutely did. He was broken as shit though. But as far as who I'd like to see as a guest character, because let's face it, there will be one. It's pretty much confirmed there will be one. I honestly, I know this is not realistic at all because KI is an Xbox thing, so he probably can't work. But I'd go Saberwolf. That's who I would want to see as a guest character. But this is purely fantasy because I don't think that would work. But
Hell no.
That's interesting.
Hell no, as in it wouldn't work. I know, but hell no, as in you would like to see
invincible dash throughs and.
Dude, it's a different game.
I know.
You sound salty about Saberwolf.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense in a back to block or a trigger block game,
Well, what about if we're sticking with that Freddy theme and they feel really good about it? What about like Leatherface or Jigsaw or something?
Ooh, Jigsaw would be cool.
That'd be tight.
I think that could fit with, in the MK world. I don't think it would be too much of a stretch to put guys like that in there.
Honestly, I feel like if you think about it, characters like The Flash and Superman have that kind of speed and time travel thing going in their comics. It could be plausible that they are put into a universe like that, similar to how Freddy was in a dream universe and put into MK. Does that make any sense to anybody?
Yeah, but I mean, I think the problem isn't putting them into the universe. You can always write that in. The problem is getting DC to sign off on Superman doing fatalities.
He did it to friggin' Shazam in story mode. That was so tight. That was the best part of story mode.
That was sick.
Yeah. That was awesome.
That was the best part of story mode because that was like a love letter to all the Mortal Kombat fans that were playing story mode. It was like fucking killing Billy Batson with lasers through the eyes.
Poor Billy Batson was never allowed to live in Injustice.
Fucking Billy.
I do hope that when NRS makes DLC, they at least give their characters voices, like actual dialogue lines.
I think they will this time.
Not just grunting and just.
I mean, Scorp, man, for my family and clan.
Well, yeah. But I think an MK, Scarlet, Fred, they didn't talk. They just grunted.
Even Rain didn't talk.
Yeah,
you guys want to see Rain back? Apparently there are. I mean, who can know with Boone? But other than Jack, of course. But do you guys want to see Rain back? You know what? Hippo's back, so let's stop killing time.
All right, Hippo, your thoughts?
I think guest
Hippo
characters are awesome.
Hippo wants to see the King Hippo guest character.
That's right. I want King Hippo himself. I think guest characters are really cool. I don't think it trivializes. It's not really hurting anybody that they're in. And you know what? They might not be good. They might not fit, but I defend the right to do them in the first place. Like, for example, Soul Calibur 2, Link is that's a home run. That's perfect. Mm-hmm. Link has a lot of weapons. He fits in Soul Calibur. Heihachi might not have been as cool. Spawn may not have been as cool, but they worked. I think
Spawn was awesome.
Yeah, whatever. He's cool. He's cool. I like Spawn, but in the game I feel like he's a little dumb. But and then obviously the Star Wars thing that kind of sucked.
I like
Star Wars doubly because they were console exclusive for a while. That sucked. But Soul Calibur 5 brought it back to put Ezio from Assassin's Creed, which is really cool. And Freddy was cool. Scorpion was cool. I don't see the issue here. I really don't. I think console exclusives are dumb. Like, I like Kratos, but I don't think he should have been PS3 only. You might as well just put him in both versions. But I understand because, it's not an Xbox or Microsoft franchise. So
Right.
I think they should stick to, when they pull guest characters, they should probably be characters that really want to offend either. Like, there's no way there's going to be a Killer Instinct or a Street Fighter character now.
Right.
The lines have drawn, so it's like, they'll never happen. But you can dream. There's a lot of potential out there.
I mean, in a fantasy world, as a fanboy, I would love to see Ken in a Mortal Kombat game, but it's obviously never happening.
Right.
Did you ever see the Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat flashes? Those were pretty good.
I did not know.
Whoa!
I was also
watching.
watching One Tree Hill at that time.
Dude, these are like from like 15 years ago.
Chad Michael Murray hasn't gotten enough press in the last 10 years. He has one.
I mean, I'm hooking him up, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other people besides like Jigsaw or Leatherface that could like legit fit where you're not bending the rules, Maybe Ghostface from Scream.
Yeah.
Dude, no. Ghostface from Scream is pretty much some emo boyfriend and another emo psycho. No, I can never get behind that because of just who's underneath the mask. It's Billy and Stu. It's fucking Billy and Stu. No, they do not belong in a Mortal Kombat game.
Oh man.
Damn.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
sorry, dude.
God, spoiler.
As someone who's well versed in spoiling Scream, that was a little.
Being the consummate Scream spoiler.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
I'm the wet blanket when it comes to spoiling horror movies. So. They call me Fudo.
So Hippo, who did you like to see as a guest character then?
So long shot would never happen. Akuma would be cool because Akuma was a guest character all the way back in X-Men: Children of the Atom, and it was really cool that he's in there. Like, he's this demonish character. He's pretty dark and violent. I mean, his best move is literally called Instant Hell Murder. So him and Scorpion probably have something to talk about.
Okay.
So I think he would be cool. But more realistically, I think it would be awesome if someone like Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 5 would be in it.
What about the Big Boss man?
Ooh.
I mean, Big Boss now has a metal arm. There's a lot of potential there.
What about the Undertaker?
The Undertaker?
Yeah. He'd be
I believe John Cena was in it.
Would
He'd have his
which
WrestleMania
Undertaker?
moveset.
Would it be Undertaker washed up right now, getting bodied
no.
by Lesnar?
And definitely not the American Badass.
It would have to be the Undertaker that first came, where Roddy Piper's like, "Look at the size of that ham hock," and he's got the.
Wouldn't it obviously make more sense to put Kane in the Mortal Kombat universe?
That's gotta be
Kane.
Oh my god.
They didn't get to announce him the first time.
Dude, your impressions are...
By the way,
wrong.
put in everyone that's listening. Put in the thread just so we know, so we can talk about it next week. What your ideas for guest characters are?
Here's how I imagine it. Sit Kane down at WWE headquarters. Got an idea. Kane. Mortal Kombat. Unleashed. You can tombstone someone and their head will fall off. Shoulders.
Oh,
All right.
Dude, Hippo, your impersonations are ridiculous.
Kane would be awesome in a Mortal. Think about the possibilities, dude. The whole fire thing. Think about the variation. You'd have one masked Kane, corporate Kane.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be so awesome.
Someone get McMahon on the horn.
Kane, bring me Ed Boon.
Yeah. His stage is obviously he's in a ring. You could use the Kane theme, dude. We're making millions here.
If it's not too late, hook us up with somebody at NRS. If it's not too late, Jack.
Make some calls, obviously.
Yeah.
Next trailer, I want to see. We have the new character. January 2nd or whatever. It's all released, all that, and at the end, you just hear, "No chance." That's what you got. You're like, what? Vinny Mac?
It was me all along.
Yeah, what if it was Vince?
Higher power.
What if you think it's going to be Kane and they take the mask off? It's me, Boone! It was me all along!
You know what I love the most about these weekly wrestling talk? I can almost hear Fly's disdain.
Yeah,
even though
his eyes are bleeding right now.
Dude, I'm like...
He's poured six eggnogs in the last 3.5 minutes.
My head is on my desk. I'm like not moving.
All right. Let's move on then. So, everyone pretty much got 1 point for at least talking about the exclusiveness. But bonus points were awarded based on who you wanted to be as a guest. So, Jack, you didn't get any since you pretty much didn't give Jack.
Actually, I'm really glad you said that. Jack the Ripper would be an awesome character.
Too late.
Dude, Saucy Jack himself.
That would have got you a bonus point, but
It's not even about the points now. It's about the conversation. Jack the Ripper.
All right.
Tight.
Edmund Camper.
Fly, you said Predator, but since there was already videos and rumors about that, that's kind of not what I wanted to hear. So you didn't get anything.
How does that change anything?
Whip, I thought about Saberwolf, and then I realized he's from KI, and I was like, nah, he's already a fighting game character. But I will give you a bonus point for referencing Corporate Kane as a variation. Hippo, honestly, he nailed it with Big Boss from Metal Gear. I thought that was awesome. I was like, that's 2 bonus points. So Hippo is straight up just dominating you guys. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the final round. Like, that's already confirmed.
Yeah, you guys might need to apologize.
Nope.
All
Dean
right.
Ambrose.
I'm
No,
sorry,
Dean
guys. I'm sorry.
So Jack and Fly still tied. Whip, you're second, but pretty much I don't see anyone reaching Hippo's level right now.
Why do you kill the hype?
All
Yeah,
right.
Life's killer.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Nah. But okay, next topic. So Frosty Faustings is coming up. It's getting bigger. We know it. What do you think are its chances of becoming an actual major with a bigger location? And what would you also rank your top 5 majors for this past year for both MK and Injustice? And Cool Whip, I want you to go first since you're not in the U.S. and what your viewpoint is on it.
Oh boy, yeah, that segment is not gonna do me good. I honestly, here's the thing. I do hope Frosty Faustings continues to grow. I do hope it becomes a major because, frankly, with UFGT's death, with Season Beating's death, I'm pretty sure the Midwest could use a major. I don't know what's the status of that tournament that's supposed to replace UFGT. I don't know if it's going to be considered a major. I don't know who's running it. I mean, I'm pretty sure Keats has a certain cachet, I guess, on the fighting game community. So I don't know who's running that kind of substitute tournament. I don't think he's going to have anything to do with it. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so I don't really know, how much players are going to travel to that. So we need Frosty Faustings to exist. We need it to kind of grow for sure. Especially it's usually the last major of the year, or does it take place in January usually? Is it like late December or early January? Or it depends?
Yeah, it depends.
Okay. Well, regardless. So it's either, to close the year or to open the year. It has a kind of like a calendar significance, if there's such a thing. So yeah, I'd love to see it grow. I don't know if I'm missing anything as far as, is there actual concrete, work being done to kind of elevate it, or is this just, some wishful thinking? I honestly have no clue. If there are efforts to kind of elevate it, then I say, absolutely, go for it. I mean, we need to support it any way we can. People need to travel to it more. It's, plus it takes place in Chicago, dude. We're the NRS community. It's the home of NRS games. I mean, that also has a certain appeal, I feel. As far as, ranking the top 5 majors from last year, you mean in terms of hype? You mean in terms of, which one was the bigger? What can you, kind of specify? Or not? HomeLee.
Oh, wait. Sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry. What was the question?
Yeah, you were not listening to a word I said, so you're just going to arbitrarily give me points. I demand 2 extra points for that, by the way, because I thought I managed to fake my way through a good talking point. But my question is, as far as ranking the top 5 majors from last year, based on what?
Based on, your enjoyment, I guess.
Oh, okay. So what was just, not in terms of which was the biggest or anything. So what did I enjoy most?
Yeah.
All right. Fine. I'll go. Evo is still Evo, regardless of, the troubles with the streaming troubles we had. So that's always going to be number 1, unless it's a disaster, well, not a disaster, but Injustice in 2013 at Evo was, kind of lame. It was compensated by an awesome MK9 tournament that year, but regardless, I thought Evo would have to stand out as number one. Final round was awesome, so that's a close second. That might even be tied for first. KIT was tremendous too. I actually really enjoyed Winter Brawl, and that last moment with KDZ kind of just walking back and forth with a super, pretty much everybody knowing that he's pretty much Sonic Fox can't do shit. So that was pretty awesome as well. I feel like I'm missing one. Hold on, let's see. I'll go with. Actually, you know what? Let's go MLG. No, I'm joking. I'll go. I don't know. I mean, I guess by default I'll go NEC. I can't think of another major, to be honest. Maybe I'm missing an obvious one, but
SCR.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Fly.
No problem.
Okay.
Point for me.
Jack, since you're pretty much near Frosty Faustings, what do you think?
As far as excuse me, Frosty becoming a major, I mean, I'm basically in support of any tournament in the country that's going to get. I mean, if you can get 120 people to show up, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? I don't want. It's a blow up if Frosty starts getting called a major because there's 35 people instead of the 30 that were there last year, just because the Midwest needs another major. And I know that I should probably be more biased because it's a hometown tournament, but the bias is not a part of my speech here. Keeping it real, that real rap. If they show up and NRS, puts up a field of 100 people, then yeah, I mean, let's talk about it being another major. If it's 30 like last year, then with a couple people from out of town, then it's just a regional like it's always been. I will say, though, as far as Frosty is concerned, I believe his name is Elvin Shadow, the guy that runs it. I hope I got that correct. I haven't spoken to him in a long time, but Frosty, he has lived in Japan, and he flies in to run Frosty and then goes back out. He's actually moved back here now, so I'm hoping that that'll mean for Frosty that because he's here year-round, he's going to be able to do more stuff, and they are trying to make a difference this year. 2 years ago, it was held at Nickel City, which is a small arcade in the Chicagoland area. Last year, it was held at a place called Game Patso, which is like a gaming lounge. But this year, they're going to a hotel, going to have a ballroom, just like your typical majors. So it appears that Elvin Shadow and the lads are trying to put in the work to make it bigger. So yeah, that would be awesome. Especially, what's nice about Midwest majors and why it sucks that we've lost so many is that it is in the middle of the country. For someone from the West Coast to fly to the East Coast, or someone from the East Coast to fly to the West Coast, is a huge pain in the ass. It's nice when people don't have to travel as far, more people can drive in because it's a shorter distance. So it would be great. I hope Frosty gets built up, and I think we might have a decent shot just because the organizer now lives here instead of flying in from Japan. As far as my 5 favorite tournaments of the year, there will be some bias just based on what I went to because, of course, I like those more. But EVO is still number 1. EVO is EVO. There were some really, really great moments this year, so I will always love EVO. Final round was amazing. That was, as far as grassroots majors go, that was stacked to the nth degree. I remember having a conversation with Katana Prime after him and I had both been eliminated, and we both just made top 32, which is obviously not very impressive. I think he got 17th and I got 25th when it was said and done. But we both talked to each other afterwards, and we were like, compared to normal majors, just being in this top 32 feels good. The tournament was just that stacked and that awesome as far as competition goes. The problems that went on during the tournament aside, just from a level of play, that was huge. UFGT was really great this year, had a bunch of good moments. Anytime Perfect Legend takes the hand lick after he loses, that's always top-notch. Anytime, King busts out his shite Lobo, that's always funny. So UFGT had some good moments. Plus, UFGT was that was the tournament of Bane. That was Bane coming out onto the scene, and it wasn't just Max. Biohazard made his presence felt. King Jr. made his presence felt. So that tournament sticks out in my mind as being a big deal. SCR, I do have to give shout-outs to, just because, and here comes some super bias, and you can all hold it, it was nice seeing for once GGA not dominate the field and have top 8 written all over it. It was nice to see that the rest of the country could hang with us, so good job there. Hold that. Also, no.
Even I. That was uncalled for. Like, dude.
I'm trolling. No, SCR was just a cool tournament, and it was really nice seeing people like Hippo do really well, which was a cool moment for me, not just because Hippo's on the show. I just always thought, even way before the show and before the other things that me and Hippo are involved in that people are angry about, I've been a Hippo fan, so I always like seeing new blood making noise, so that was cool. I'm trying to think of what number 5 would be for me, because there are so many good tournaments. God, probably MLG, and I know that's pack up, but it was nice because despite all of the issues that happened with the stream and all the problems that went down and all that, the level of play seemed to be really high from a lot of the people. You got to see people like White Boy make a huge splash in the scene. You got the great interview before Grand Finals where 16-Bit said, "I've got no chance. I'm going to get bodied." You had...
CD Jr. was unbearable on Twitter when 16-Bit said that. It was
well...
like, you should never say that and
Junior
whatever.
plus
All right.
Twitter is always unbearable, so that's whatever. You had Suit Tom Brady, so he was in top form on commentary, so... Even though MLG had a ton of stream problems, I mean, like I said, Final Round also had problems, but just from what was going on there, I'll put that in the last one. That was really good overall.
Okay. Hippo, what do you think?
Well, I think, and again, I'm biased, but I think SCR was great, not only for me personally, but that was the start, that was the first major that Theo ended up taking, which would be a theme throughout the year leading up to EVO. So that was fun to see. We saw the emergence of Mr. Anderson, Nicholas Anderson, White Boy. Did really well there. He eliminated 2 favorites to get top 8 at that tournament, Wound and Ducky. So he had a hell of a show. You had Big Boy put on quite a show by eliminating 16-Bit, and almost made, he really got close to top 8. Things like that. So it was a really exciting tournament, I think. KIT also was really fun. That weird GGA versus AK thing that was going on was insanely
God, I
fun to
completely
watch.
forgot KIT. I'm on huge blast. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yep. MLG over KIT. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't, man.
And I mentioned it right before you.
I
That
blame
shows
the
that you don't pay
Jameson.
attention.
Unbelievable. I didn't even. I gave Hippo hella props and gave myself none. Blow up.
Yeah. Huge blow up. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Ken was on commentary, so that was, interesting. What else?
Compliment or was that an insult?
No, it's not real. No, it was a compliment.
All right, good. In fact, I actually liked that he kept it real without matches that were just
Dude.
straight.
Song commentary on Xeno was hilarious.
And you know what?
He
You can all hold it. You can all blow me up as much as you want for that commentary. You know who gave my commentary props in their own recorded show? Little guy named Ultra David, who, by the way, everyone always wants to be the commentary guy. On his show, he said the commentary was great, so you guys can all hold my goddamn boulders.
Dude,
I mean, he was.
Didn't Crimson Shadow blow you up for that commentary right after?
Yeah,
Crimson
had huge blast, and then Ultra David said it was great, so Crimson, you can super hold that times 2.
I mean, he's got to pump up his own race, man. It's not. He wasn't not going to give.
Dude, I'm pretty sure he doesn't know that we're people.
He knows. Dude, he knows. There's like a sensor. It's sort of like, kind of like gay people can tell when other people are gay.
Whoa, cool whip stop.
Cool whip, unbelievable.
What do you mean?
Hippo,
it's a sensor. All right, whatever.
Firecrotch is a guy?
So
haha.
So, yeah, KIT was fun. The match between Max and Saltface was insane. It was a really fun match to watch. So I had enjoyed that a lot. Evo, I'll say it. If you had to, unfortunately, you had to be there to see how fun it was and how a lot of the matches were really great. It's unfortunate, things happened that you weren't able to see anything, but like the top 8, I think a couple matches out of pools. That was really good. Final round, also another one really fun. Seemed like that was one where it seemed like most people were there. So ones where everyone's there to me, like at least 3 to 4 different regions are far more entertaining. So that's the ones I usually like best. And then lastly, I'll probably give a shout out to UFGT. That was another one where it felt like everyone was there, had their shot to compete, and we saw, Theo came out on that one too. So yeah, those were, I think, the best tournaments for this year. MK, I thought they all stunk. I think modern MK extremely boring and nobody cares. So
I ignored that part of the question for a reason. Seriously.
I mean, people at Evo were doing cartwheels instead of playing in the tournament.
Yeah.
But hey, props to Claude and Pig for even running that thing. The fact that it got done,
that's true.
Repeat, yeah. So, but yeah, I don't think modern MK is that interesting. So I couldn't tell you if it was cool. I don't really pay attention.
I'll give Esports credit for winning STR, by the way. Because he's a guy who still cares about MK, and I mean,
that was cool. I'm not taking away people's accomplishments. I'm just saying, me personally, I don't really care, so I won't try and say which one was the best. So,
okay. So
was there another part of that question I missed?
Yeah. Frosty.
Oh, Frosty. Okay, so Frosty. And this is not intended to be a blow up of Frosty at all. I don't really feel like it's going to get huge numbers unless I mean, the fact is, it's a primarily Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, Under Night and Birth tournament. And I think unless that changes, unfortunately, I don't think those games will ever be huge. I think there's a lot of things, and it's not like they're bad games or anything. I wouldn't say anything like that, but I think they do cater to a certain crowd that doesn't, and it's not a huge crowd. Like, it's not a crowd that would play like Street Fighter or something like that. So I think that I think they have Street Fighter there. I think they have, a lot of games there, obviously. But I think until maybe they do something like that, but it keeps growing, so it might surprise me. So I'm not.
To add to that, by the way, it's because Chicago's anime scene is actually pretty strong. And I think it's nice that they have a home locally for a big tournament for them. I think it's cool, but I'm with you. For NRS type games to blow up, it's just could be hard.
Apex, for example, is a Smash major, but they've incorporated a lot of other games to the point where they not only can get numbers for Smash, but they can get numbers for other games too. So I think Frosty could probably do something like that. It's not unheard of, and it's certainly, I wouldn't be shocked. But for now, I think they'll stay a fairly decent-sized regional for our games, but maybe for an anime game, it's probably a major.
Okay, and Fly.
So I'm going to put a twist on this, and I'm going to talk about what majors, my top 5 majors for 2015, based on what I saw last year. I'm going to make some bold predictions. So I think KIT is coming up as the major for NRS games. I think Vandy being part of the scene, the fact that he posts and that fact that he participates on TYM is huge. And props to him for that, and props to KIT for showing up last year, and again for 2015 to be a huge, huge, huge benefit to NRS games. That's one. Evo is, I guess, a given, so I'm going to include that one. I think, whether we agree from the bans or not, NEC was an amazing tournament, and I think it's going to continue to be an amazing tournament. So that would be my number 3. 4 is final round, because that's my grassroots major. It's where I had my 9th place finish, where Saucy Jack was talking about how stacked it was, and that makes me feel good, and I plan on being there again and showing up again. That's 4. And 5, I think SCR is going to continue to grow. I think last year it was a killer tournament, and I think next year it's going to be even better because of the showing it had last year. So those are my top 5 tournaments for NRS going into 2015. Was there another part of the question I should be answering here?
Frosty.
Oh, Frosty. Yeah,
Poor Frosty. No one remembers it.
Well, honestly, when I saw that question, I was like, I don't even think I watched Frosty Fasting this year, because I think I was busy that weekend and just tried to catch up on it after the fact. But
That's a pack up. I made top 8. Come on, man. Where's my love? Tournament was huge. Double major.
anyways, to me, it's
Hold on, who won that? Oh,
Sinestro.
Wand won it. Yeah,
Wand,
Wand
yeah.
won.
yeah, maybe that's
Wand is
why I
super
stopped
fun to
watching
watch,
it
by the way.
because Sinestro won. Ugh.
Nah, dude, come on. Wand, I mean, we blow him up for downplaying, but Wand is super fun to watch.
He's an amazing player. God, it's like
He's
you hate to love him, you
insanely
love
good.
to hate him. You know.
No, I love him.
I hate to love him, but I love him.
He's super talented. We blew
He's
him up
awesome.
a lot earlier, so gotta give the dude his props.
Yeah.
He's really good.
His Shang and MK might have been the most entertaining thing to watch. by the way.
Absolutely.
He did send me to losers in Frosty, and that was an unfun experience. He's really tough to play against.
You played Doomsday?
Yeah.
I did
in that
play
match?
Doomsday, yeah.
Yeah.
That had a really good moment. At one point, he hit me with a down 2 and then transitioned me. And during the transition, I was tearing and telling him that I was demanding down 2 nerfs for Sinestro while the match was going on. I
Down
was
2
yelling
is so
at him.
stupid.
Uh,
But anyways, I mean,
Alright.
Frosty is. I can't really speak on it very well because I didn't watch it. Based on what Jack is saying and what Hippo's saying, it doesn't seem like it's got the momentum to be a huge major, but maybe some changes are happening, and I'd like to see Midwest get a new major that's stacked. So I know I'd like to go back to Chicago. I had fun the last time I was there. So
Okay. Alrighty. And we're going to have a little short topic for a little comedic break before our next Jimmy rustling topic. All right. Christmas is coming up. And what would you guys ask Santa to do in regards to TYM or the FGC? So I'll start off by saying, hey, I want Santa to make the mods a little bit less biased on TYM. I'm not going to point out who, but
dude, that wasn't as
Christian
good as
knows
what
what
you
I'm talking
posted
about.
in the thread in the PM.
Hmm?
That wasn't as good as what you posted in the PM, as an example.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would love Santa to drop a deuce to James NK stocking. I would love that.
Thank you for just coming out and saying it.
Yeah, I would love that actually. Actually, Santa, if you love me this year, can I have 2 gifts?
You get points
All
for
right.
that, sir.
All right, I'll just go ahead and let you guys know I'm awarding points on how much you make me laugh. So go. I'm gonna start off with Hippo.
Well, I'm not usually on Christmas. I usually ask for the very bare minimal things, but I think one of the things I would definitely have to ask for is please, 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 if you quit as a mod, you are banned. So Blake, please get off as a mod or a shadow leader or warrior counter or whatever the hell you are. Like, if you quit, my Christmas gift would be that you have to stick to your word. So if you say, if this person loses, I'm gonna suck. You know what? Bow down, sir. Get on your knees. If something that happens, you quit as a mod. Do it. That would be my dream. Obviously, would never happen. Christmas isn't real. Santa's not real. You guys are all dumb. But that would definitely be my favorite. You had to stick to your word.
Okay.
And if you
fair
quit,
enough.
you are out.
Fair enough. 2 points awarded.
Yeah.
All right, Jack, your turn.
Well, when I write my list to Hanukkah Harry, it actually has 8 requests for
Hanukkah Harry.
for the 8 days of Hanukkah, which we are currently in the middle of. Obviously, I am lighting the menorah as we speak. No, that's not true. It lit it at sundown. But if I was going to ask, and it has for Hanukkah, for those that don't know, instead of you don't ask for massive Christian presents, you ask for just the little things. It's just the little things in life. So I would ask for just 8 little posters to be removed from 2IM. I would like to see maybe day 1 Doombox gets removed. Maybe day 2 Strikey gets removed. Maybe day 3 James MK gets removed.
Why is
my
he
God.
not day one?
The 8
Why is
days
he
of
not day
Christmas.
one?
Well, because the first 2 days it'll be funny watching James MK be mad about the people getting removed, and then he'll get the hammer on day 3. And yeah, I would just go through all my little Hanukkah days and just little gifts, just a poster removed each day would make me happy, and then culminating in the end where everyone is forced to have some sort of Hanukkah-related avatar for the last day, just so everyone could feel the oppression that I get from you Jew haters.
All right, I like that. 3 points.
Thank you.
Cool Whip. Go.
Well, when I write my letter to Osama, I would.
What did you just say? Say that again.
Oh my
Nothing,
god.
dude, nobody heard that.
How much did you have
I
to
heard
drink?
it. That was good. Are you going to ask for a cave, a dialysis machine? What are you asking for?
Jack, you just got another point.
Thank you.
Well, I would ask for one little thing to stop existing. Actually, you know what? I'll put it that way. There are 3 letters. OBS. I'd like to put 3 letters ahead of them, and that's RIP. That's all I want. I want that fucking show to disappear forever. That's all I want. Here, that's a blow up. Apparently, we're a podcast dedicated to drama, so that's drama. I want that show to stop being relevant because guess what? It isn't.
Okay. Anything else?
That's a very
Anything? Have I not expressed my disdain at OBS and everything that it represents enough? I mean, but I do want James MK to continue being on the forums because he's fun to get riled up. He called me Sandboy.
He said you
did
live in
call
a
you
sand
Sandboy.
hut, dude.
Yeah, which is terrible, by the way. I'm a little concerned, though, that you're asking Osama for something that is in direct conflict with what I'm asking Hanukkah Harry for. So this is the religious war at its finest. We'll see who wins.
Well, we'll see who wins.
We're going to solve all the
guy's
problems
dead,
in the Middle
so-
East.
I mean,
All right. That was good. All right, Cool Whip. 3 points. Fly. Go.
Can I ask for 2 things?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, number 1, whiskey.
Dude, we need to talk about whiskey later on in the show. I made a discovery today, but continue.
Number 2 is for HomeLee to stop pretending like he buys me in casuals and to record a set to where we play and I actually post it up for the world to see. That's my 2 things I want for Christmas.
Okay. Fair enough. 2 points.
And if I can ask for a 3rd thing,
really, bastard.
Depends. Go.
bourbon.
What's
All right.
going to happen
All right.
when you
Next episode, Fly's intervention.
Yeah. What's going to happen if you sit down to record this set and HomeLee bodies you 30-2?
Dude, as long as I have a bottle of bourbon with me, I'll be fine with that.
I think actually I can go find Armando's stream and link the timestamp for that whole hour and a half I bought you.
You haven't found it yet. Why don't we just record a new set? How about that?
Yeah, HomeLee, seriously, you've been talking about that set and finding it for like 6 episodes now, so either do it or stop talking about it.
Thank you.
Or
That
go
will
body
work.
fly again.
HomeLee,
That's all
I
want.
would like you to know that even though these gentlemen are being mean to you, I believe you.
Oh my god.
No,
You
I
point grubbing
certainly
son of a
believe
bitch.
that.
As someone who has also bodied Fly in casualties, I
Nobody.
Oh.
I can promise you, HomeLee, you have never bodied me the way Jack bodied me when I went to Chicago.
Yeah.
That fool, he
Why, I don't
bodied
think
me.
that somehow makes you look any better, though.
I'm not worried about how I look. I'm just giving people props where it's deserved, and HomeLee does not deserve any of them.
Yeah, I remember Fly's last comment when I was at his house. Pig.
Was it please don't
Can
use
we
my toilet?
can we take this guy to a major already? Can we take him? He's gonna wreck everyone.
HomeLee,
That
you're
was
going
your
to
comment,
KIT.
Fly.
Are you
Yeah,
trying
I
to
probably won't do that.
prop
We'll
fish,
see.
HomeLee?
Yeah.
Have you been
Yeah.
playing?
Not as much as I should.
Oh,
but-
options.
I set you up for options to like, dude. And
No,
you
you-
took it.
No, it's cool. I'm gonna win free, like easy. So don't
Nice. I respect that.
Well, if
Okay.
Fly's in your pool, that should be straightforward.
Damn.
I can't wait, dude. It's gonna be awesome.
worry. It'll be as bad when Fly eliminated Pig from Evo and MK.
Oh my god.
That
Wait,
happened.
did that really happen?
Yeah. Well, I didn't eliminate him, but I put him in losers.
Oh,
Wait.
and then they had the car ride home.
Wait, what year was that?
Oh, that was like year 1, bro.
Oh, year 1.
That was
Who were you getting
before. That was
All
like
right.
each of our first tournaments, like
Was
before.
that Nightwolf Molina? Or Nightwolf Cyber Sub?
It was he played Molina. It was it was funny
He can't
because
remember.
that was our first ever tournament like for MK, and it was like he should have beat me. Like he usually beats me. He's a better player than I am, but for some reason I beat him.
That's awesome.
Okay. All right. So our last and final Jimmy Rustling topic. The standings are Hippo is in the lead, but Jack is actually caught up. He's actually pretty close.
Yeah.
Whip, you are in third. And
Don't
Fly,
even
you're
say
not
it.
too far behind. No, you're not that too far behind Whip, actually.
Oh,
So-
my God.
All right. The final topic for tonight would be, which scene is more divided, AK or SoulCal? Hippo.
Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel is a great song.
Did
Hippo?
he get dropped?
Did he
Hippo.
die? I'm going to assume Hippo's
Wow.
pooping right now.
Okay. We'll
I'm
go to,
worried for myself if something happened to
Yeah.
Hippo.
we'll move to Cool Whip since he's able to kill like probably 15 minutes of this topic.
I think
Go Cool Whip.
Sorry, guys, I was body.
Hippo's back.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Hippo. Which scene is more divided, AK or SoulCal?
Oh God, it's tough because. Well, here's the thing with AK, and I don't mean to blow him up, but I think even he would
No.
admit
Go as far as you
Pig.
can.
Pig is a volatile human being to say the least.
Whoa.
This guy,
No, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Fine.
Oh.
That's
Stop
revolutionary.
the press.
I know. Extra, read all about.
Extra,
Has a temper.
extra.
So now that's good in different ways. But I mean, it's good in that he gets really fired up about whatever he's doing. He's very passionate about it. It's bad in that he's screaming spoilers for a TV show at some random guy in the gym. So he has days. He has days. I think as far as like the dysfunction in the AK, I think that he's obviously it's not a huge, not tend to be a blow up, but he is your guys' best player. So I think when he says things, they carry weight. And he's volatile, and his opinions change very quickly, and he gets very upset. And some of the things he says, I don't blame people for being upset with him, and I can see why he's a big reason why scene would be quote unquote dysfunctional, because he can be very volatile at times. But I think other than that, I think you guys have your scene's not. I think other than that, it's really not that bad. Like. I think that's the main problem, though, is like one of your top guys has to be real emotional and say some things that are really unkind.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, I'm just gonna I don't think Brant says unkind things to people. I think in the moment he's
Hold on.
helpful.
Hold on. I gotta regulate you. I've been accused of having pig's balls in my mouth as early as yesterday, and I wouldn't even deny that, virtually speaking. But hold on, no, he does say hurtful things. A lot of the time, he has a case. Don't get me wrong, but come on.
Well, I won't deny that he holds people accountable for things that they say that are stupid or wrong, but
I'm not saying he's not fair. I'm just saying he's harsh.
Well, I guess
that makes
that's.
sense?
I guess I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree. Harsh but fair. It's reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hippo, continue.
What?
What?
Isn't Hippo done?
Yeah. So no, I was
okay.
talking.
Sorry.
So yeah, I don't know, and that I think that to me is what ultimately that'll cause a lot of problems. But he's an okay guy, so it's like he might get over it one day. But that's the main reason. He's not wrong all the time either. But I'm just saying that will cause a lot of problems. The other thing, but with SoCal's case, I think the problem is there's bitterness, but nobody talks about it. Like at least Pig, for all his, he will openly I don't like you. He'll pull Tom Brady. I don't like you. So that's
I hear that soundbite.
it's not quote unquote cool, but it's you can respect it. A lot of the SoCal guys, it seems like, is they all have problems with each other and they don't want to talk about it or acknowledge it, so it just gets built up in like frustration. Like when Chef is on Twitter saying, "Man, Theo, you really shit the bed at Evo," like how that's not cool. Why would you even say that? Like that, you got top 8 at Evo. Why would you? I don't understand. Like that thing, like that, like those little snarky remarks. A lot of them, and a lot of them seem to do that, and it feels like nothing ever gets resolved. So it's like I don't know. Like I think it's better. Like at least with AK, things are said. Like people just say it straight up. Like I don't like you. I think you're dumb. Blah blah blah. And you know what? It's probably a lot of it sometimes can be hurtful and maybe not even make sense. But at least he says it. So I'm gonna,
Wait, what are the things happening in SoCal that are so divided? Like, who is divided? Is it just Chef versus everybody, or what's the deal?
There's no
to be honest
scene left.
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
think anybody likes anybody over there. Maybe I'm assuming, but I don't know.
I just don't know.
here's my
exactly.
take on. I don't know. It's not a personal dislike. I think everyone thinks they're super good, and they're the only people that might be good. You know what I mean? Like I think there's a little resentment. Like Theo picked up Aquaman, and it's like, all right, now he's the best, but was he really? Before he picked up Aquaman, things like that. I think that has a lot to do with it, and then just in general, which is not a bad thing. People can think they're good, but I think everyone thinks they're good, and that everyone else is bad, which is not probably conducive to how it should be.
Like, because Theo is considered the best, is Slayer not considered a great player, even though he's gotten top 8 before?
Well, I mean, I don't think so. But some people would think otherwise. But it's the other thing is like they'll do things like they talk about swinging a lot. Yeah, have you guys heard this term? This is a beautiful term.
You
By the way.
shouldn't swing.
Swinging is when you're at frame disadvantage and you decide to press a button. That's considered swinging.
Don't swing, bro.
And that's a secret. Like that's a term. Like that's a scrub. Like a scrub swing. Real players don't swing, which is ludicrous. First of all,
Right.
But it's just funny. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of swing. So if you hear there's a lot of swinging going on, I always hear that term and I'm like, that's marked with disdain when those guys say it. So, and they say it all the time. So I'm like, someone doesn't think someone's good all the time when I hear that. So it's like, that's the feeling I get. Whereas, I mean, AK, props to them. The guys that stick together are birds of a feather. Pump each other up. I mean, you guys blow each other up. But
Are they
you guys
doing the dirty bird?
They're not doing the dirty bird. The bird is not the word, but I mean, they're doing, some feathery actions. I need to apologize for feathery
Yeah,
actions.
you do.
That was not good.
Apologize.
Thank you for volunteering that apology.
I've got a grammar apology
Yeah.
for you later, and I can't
Can I get
wait
points
until
for
we post
my own apology?
All
But
right.
I'll give the nod to
Anything else?
SoCal over AK. No, I'll give the nod to SoCal over AK.
Okay. And what about you, Fly?
I mean, I guess I can't say that I know enough about SoCal to draw a real firm conclusion. I think Atlanta's, I don't know, it's weird. I can only speak for Atlanta. I feel like there's a lot of just misunderstandings. I think, some people, they take the game really seriously, and some people do and don't. And at the end of the day, the thing that we all have in common is the game, and that we enjoy playing it. And personal habits and the way people act should be irrelevant to this. So, I don't know. I don't feel like it's really dysfunctional. I feel like it's just, I don't know. People aren't honest. Like, you may say Pig will say, I don't like you, or this is an issue, but at the end of the day, I feel like some of the people he may not like don't necessarily know that, and it's not because he wouldn't be afraid to say it, it's because people aren't as active or as participating in those things and they're just not aware, or they're delusional or not participating enough to know when they should. I don't know. I feel like does that even make sense? The way I
No.
say that? Like, people aren't on TYM as much as they could be or would know, like the way we would know.
Yeah, okay.
I get you, Fly.
So if that makes any sense, I'd say SoCal's more delusional. So that's my case.
Okay. And Cool Whip.
All right. Well, I'll admit this is strictly from an outsider's perspective. I'm aware of some of the drama. I'm not aware. I don't think anybody's aware of like everything. I'll say this, about when I said earlier that everybody at SoCal dislikes everybody, that's not fair, nor probably it's not even true. I agree with Hippo that it's all about the game itself. Like, it's not personal, but, it's easy to get the lines blurry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to say... Like, if once you start trashing other players for not being good or whatever, or maybe, being overrated, they're going to take it personally. So at some point, the line gets blurry. Here's the thing. I think AK is more outspoken as far as the problems go, mainly because, Pig does not shy away from airing things out, which is both good and bad. But I feel, Pig always gets accused by those who don't like him of being passive-aggressive, which I never got. Pig is aggressive-aggressive. I don't know where this passive-aggressive things come from. However, on the other hand, at SoCal, I think it's more passive-aggressive sort of thing. Like, a lot of the guys there, Slayer on Twitter, even Tyrant sometimes, definitely Wonder Chef. They're all kind of, when they're speaking negatively, even if it's about injustice, you almost feel like there are like some hidden messages in there. Like when Chef is bitter about the game, I don't think it's just the game he's bitter about. You know what I mean? There's a reason there's literally no scene there. And it's a shame because there are a bunch of great... I mean, Theo is at worst the second best Injustice player, or at least back when he still played. Slayer is an Evo top 8 placer, just got top 8 at a major, like as recently as a couple of weeks ago. Tyrant is a virtuoso as far as the fighting game player goes. That dude is a genius.
Ooh, good word.
Wondership.
Virtuoso, I like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Extra points, HomeLee? Extra points, please?
Keep
I don't think it matters
the
at this point.
fishing.
Keep
The
going.
Might as
fishing
well
is
give it to me.
real.
Keep going.
Dude, are you wearing waders and a fisherman's cap? Like,
Dude, he's got that vest.
He's got water
what
wings
kind
on.
of lure are you using? What sort of bait you got on that hook?
HomeLee's trying to talk around. HomeLee's trying to
I'm
talk around the
against
hook.
fishing. I'm a scuba diver. I don't believe in fishing.
Jesus.
Anyway, I think even Chef, I mean, when he actually plays, he's obviously very knowledgeable about the game. He's obviously very knowledgeable about fighting games in general. Can play a multitude of characters. So I think it's kind of a shame for that. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, by the way, but I'm pretty sure it's a shame that scene kind of fell through the way it did, especially because it seems like nobody plays anymore. Like, at least with AK, it's divided, but a couple, Fly will still play Pig. I think he's too afraid to play you, HomeLee, but, sometimes he has no choice but to. At least there are still, it's divided, but some guys still play together. At SoCal, I don't think anybody plays the game. At least, Slayer is complaining about having nobody to play against. And, on Twitter, Perfect Legend is feeling his pain. That's all I see. And Theo doesn't play anymore. He's, I guess, playing Street Fighter or whatever single-player games at this point. Chef, he says he doesn't play, but, I think, sometimes he still posts about new tech and stuff. I don't know what went on at Wednesday Night Fights, but from the word go, there was always a sense of whoever was winning, there was a lot of vitriol directed at the character, but also indirectly about the man himself, or the player himself. Like, at first, it was Superman. That's all we heard complaints about. And then Theo dropped Superman, picked up Aquaman. And then it was Aquaman. And then it was like, oh no, Injustice is just this rogue game. Like, there seemed to be a lot of bitterness. So for that alone, I would say SoCal.
Okay. And, Jack, close it out, man.
Well, I'm not in either scene, so I would like to preemptively say, of course, that everything that I am going to express here is A, my opinion and not the opinions of the others, and B, comes from just what I see. I'm sure, since he's come up a lot and will come up in my spiel, Wonder Chef is going to go fucking bonkers in the thread. Whatever. AK... Dude, AK, you guys got some problems right now. I don't even know. You've railed on this show about it. We've got guys in AK that don't want to use the tag. I don't know who is AK and who isn't. Reno Rax appears to have gone into hiding. I don't even know where he is. Maybe he's in another country that's a non-extradition country. Like, I don't know what's going on. AK seems to have a lot of problems. However, AK, as the other panelists have pointed out, does still have people playing the game at least, which in and of itself has to put them ahead of SoCal. SoCal appears, from the outside, to be a classic case of cancer in the locker room. You know how you see in sports all the time, hey, this guy's a free agent, should we get him? Or hey, should someone trade for so-and-so? Everyone talks about, I know he's talented, but could be a cancer in the locker room. It appears from the outside that there are a bunch of those walking around in SoCal. Everyone complains about whoever they are losing to in their own scene. And then you have certain scenes where people complain, oh my god, Chicago, I'm getting bodied by Bane, Bane's broke. Oh, I'm getting bodied by Martian when Jupiter's going to the break, etc. And they complain about the break. In SoCal, it looks like everyone complains about the actual players, and that just feels ugly to me. Like, I don't know a better word to use for it than it's just plain ugly. The chef constantly, for the last year on the forums, has taken digs or jabs at someone, or you'll see him in stream chats going ape shit about this, that, or the other thing. Theo, my understanding, is that when he went to Wednesday night fights, he didn't even talk to anybody. Like, he was kind of shunned. Now, I'm sure, to play it fair, Theo probably didn't want to talk to them either, so I'm sure he wasn't going out of his way. But, I mean, the guy sits in a corner, talks to no one, plays his matches, and goes home. Dude, if I lived in the same scene as Theo, even if I didn't love him or anything, and he was just a guy, I would still be talking to him hella to try and learn the game. And it seems like they've gotten away from that. Plus, it's filled with... There's really no other nice way to put this. It is filled with not high-level players acting like they are extremely high-level and blowing up anybody else. Your Sonic Boom Brad debacle, the shitstorm in the Doomsday forums that he created.
Completely forgot about that, dude.
That was a disaster.
Wow.
And you know if he's doing it there, he's doing it at home. As a Nightwing player, I'm sure you've had your run-ins with Sajam Fly. The big
I like
proprietor.
Sajam now, though. He's cool.
I like Sajam,
Which I
It's
get,
pretty cool.
but anyone who says there wasn't an era where Sajam was not exactly the nicest person to deal with is lying. The guy, I also don't have any problems with Sajam, but there was an asshole phase. And these things just start to add up. Tyrant, as much as he may be a virtuoso when he's playing the game, he's kind of an asshole on Twitter from time to time about the people that he's playing with. I'm sorry, you can't give the guy props and not point out the flaws. And no one plays anymore, which is what I think actually makes them appear more dysfunctional than AK. To an outsider, I'm not there, but AK, while it may not be all united, the people still play. To me, it looks like Sajam still plays the game and Tyrant plays it at tournament, and that's it, which is cool. If he wants me into KI, I'm not blowing him up for that, but I mean, it appears that the scene is dead. It doesn't get more jacked up and dysfunctional than not having a scene at all. At least AK has something going. So, SoCal, it looks ugly right now from the outside.
All right. I like that. Okay. So, after tallying up all the points, Fly and Cool Whip are both tied for third with 15 points.
So I didn't get extra points for Virtuoso.
Nope. Hippo, obviously first place. He has 18 points.
Too strong? Nerf Hippo?
And Jack, you are in second with 16.
Damn, you 15ers can hold that
Yeah,
shit.
see, it wasn't that bad. 15ers.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, it was that extra point that I got for the cave and dialysis machine. That's what put me over the top.
It's true. All right. The final battle. All right. So I'm going to get my timer out.
Who's in the final
Oh,
battle
shit.
for those
We got-
viewers at home who don't know
Shit
how
just
this
got
works?
real.
Yes. All
Dude,
right.
I'm pulling up my boxing trunks. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have a taped X over your belly button?
I got a taped man sewer grate.
Jack, are you sharpening your knife?
No, man, I'm just getting drunk so I don't feel the blows.
All right. I'm going to put you both back at 0. Whoever scores the most points will win.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner?
Okay, I'm gonna flip a coin right quick. Hippo, heads or tails?
Heads.
Okay, heads. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
Let me set some
Okay.
drama here, by the way. I'm pretty sure, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, if Hippo wins, this is an unprecedented third-time winner of Consider the Following. And if I win, that puts me actually as the only other person besides Hippo to win twice, right?
That's true.
Right.
Dude,
You are
bro,
a KTF historian.
lot on the line, man.
Yeah.
All right.
All
So,
the marbles.
Hippo,
Nobody
first
cares.
question.
Shut up.
Salty!
You want? Wait. Fly is the inaugural winner. Shut up. You know he fishes for props. I just want you guys to know I was the inaugural.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why he was...
I'm sure he actually uses the term inaugural too.
That's why he was late. He
Every
was
day.
reminding his wife, baby, I'm not going to do good tonight because of the eggnog, but you do know that I won the first one, right? I'm just saying.
That's
I mean, I gotta
exactly
go
what
defend
said.
my title.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys got a minute and a half each. Hippo.
Okay.
All right. So there are players in this community that tend to say, I'm quitting Injustice and this shitty game, or I'm not playing Injust Ass anymore. These players have a tendency to always quit, but then they come back. And then when they quit, they make a very long post that no one really gives a fuck about.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think these players should stay, or should they just quit and just get out of this community already?
Well, typically, whenever someone is announced that they're leaving or they're quitting, I tend to immediately start spinning my finger in a circle and going, I don't care. They're leaving the community and I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. He does not care. I don't care. So that's typically what I do whenever someone says that.
Dude, that was
But-
so loud. I'm gonna have to turn the volume down in the recording.
So, but typically, yes, if you're going to go, just leave. I don't care that you are leaving. Nobody does. And I'll give Pig props. He made a big statement of leaving and talking about people are degenerates. And Pig, if you're going to leave, stop posting on Test Your Mind. Just stick to the gimmick. You can't be Terry Funk forever, and then come back. Come on, man. Terry funking it up. They're not leaving. Just go. Nobody cares.
All right. Well, you still got another 15 seconds if you want to add anything.
Maybe
All
you
right.
can sing more.
Absolutely, 100%. If a mod announces they're leaving, don't come back as a mod.
And not the next day, dude.
Don't leave as a mod and come back as Shadow Warrior or whatever.
All right. Time. All right. So you got 5 points from that. All right. Jack, are you ready?
My body is ready. Although I'm a little emo that Hippo sang because when you said it, my gimmick was going to be to sing Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash. So I feel like my thunder's been stolen again from Hippo going first in these grand finals. The fix is in. Player one advantage.
Yeah, do the Met.
Yeah.
All right. Go.
It's pretty simple, in my opinion at least. I hate those threads. I hate them so much that I'm surprised they are not front page, because that would be the only thing that could possibly make me hate them more. It's boring that I'm not going to disagree with Hippo here, but dude, if there has ever been a props fish that is worse than, yo, did you see my 35th that I got at Apex? I'm the man. It is, guys, I'm leaving. Please feel bad for me. I don't give a fuck. Like anything in this world, if they are your actual friends, when you're leaving, you'll hit them up on Facebook, you'll text them, they'll know why you're leaving. It's whatever. No one on Test Your Might gives a flying rat's ass that some jobber from Montana who went to a local twice and couldn't get top 8 in a 12-man bracket is quitting Injustice. No one cares. Just go. It's embarrassing for the person involved. The props fishing is Cool Whip levels of bad. It's terrible. I hate it.
When have I ever fished for props? Other than my
Blow up.
Jack, 15 more seconds.
dude.
And in my last 15 seconds, I will say, get off the goddamn website. No one cares. Should I stay or should I go now? I'm done.
All right.
Why was I randomly blown up?
All
I'm
right.
emo. I'm
So-
absolutely emo.
Oh man. Based on those two responses, which were both excellent, Jack, you came out on top
Yes.
by 1 point because you blew a
Yes.
Cool Whip.
Dude, did you
Yes.
seriously now just put Jack as next week's host
Oh,
again?
Cool Whip.
Oh my god! You know what, guys? I'm gonna
Funny.
be sick. You know, I'm calling in sick next week. I have New Year's plans. I'll be
Hey,
out
does
of the
someone have
country.
emergency sound on?
What's that?
What?
Oh, my girlfriend's like phone like Amber Alert just went off. I was
Oh
like,
my
what?
god, that's serious.
Wow.
Amber Alert for Mike Edwards. Just like,
Uh,
wait.
Jack, that is
What?
your reward for the
That's-
Amber Alerts. Huh?
Oh man.
Why am
Hold on,
I on
what
the
was that?
Amber Alert, Hippo?
Oh my god. While he talks to his girlfriend, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of this victory speech.
Yeah. Do your.
All right, go ahead.
My victory speech is gonna be you know how they say you should learn something every day? Well, today everyone's going to learn something that no one cares about, but you'll be able to win at trivia
You'll learn today.
or blow up Hippo. Newspaper boys in the 30s did not actually say extra or extra. Read all about it. Google it. What they actually said was wuxtry. W-U-X-T-R-Y. That is the actual word that newspaper boys back in the day said. So the next time you hear someone saying extra, read all about it, blow them up and tell them to hold your boulders, because what they actually said was wuxtry.
Why?
That was
Why?
literally.
I don't care.
That was literally the worst victory speech in the history of victory speeches.
Wait,
I'm impressed that you are going to start next week at negative 15, cool.
what does that even mean? Jack, what does that even mean?
I-
Walk street.
Wuxtry is just slang for extra.
So they're saying extra. You might as well just say extra.
Hey man, the actual words are wuxtry. I'm just saying, Google that shit, son.
Happy, I'm bossy. When
Yeah.
you call me son. I don't care.
Oh man.
Can we have an
HomeLee-
episode where Hippo just sings the whole time?
HomeLee ran a tight ship today. You get props for being an excellent host. I'll be honest, better than I anticipated.
Thank you.
Of course, look at he chose as the winner. I was happy that HomeLee was going to be the host. I was like, all right, this is going to make up for well, not last week, 2 weeks ago. And my worst nightmare happens again. I mean, God, in 2014 end on a worse note for me.
Well, on the plus side, Cool Whip, look at it this way. If you somehow manage to dig out of this 15-point hole that you're already in and you win next week, I'm going to have to give you 2 minutes unadulterated where you can downplay Batman as much as you possibly want.
Oh my god.
I'm going to take 2 minutes to blow you up. That's what I'm going to do. Fuck Batman.
Hey, so are you guys cool with having Vandy on as a guest in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm down.
Like the weekend
Yeah,
before
pre-KIT
KIT?
show.
We'll have to discuss how we want to do it, but as a
Segment.
pre-KIT thing, talk to him for a few minutes. I am absolutely down with that. Vandy's good people.
Yeah, he said he wants to wear a Cool Whip shirt, but unfortunately he didn't want to take off his Rahila's shirt. I don't know if that's offensive or flattering. I have yet to make up my mind.
See, that was
What's-
prop fishing right there, just so you know.
No, how the fuck is that prop
Yeah,
fishing?
the prop fishing was real.
No, I was actually, if anything, I was ass kissing. Or
Dude,
Vandy,
if
but
we
that's
can
the-
someone get me Cool Whip's address so I can send him some waders and some fishing tackle. It's unbelievable.
Do you
Ridiculous.
Dude, and you
really
also-
want to send stuff all the way to Lebanon? You don't know what. I mean, sure, I'll mail you back. I can't promise what you get though.
Damn!
Honestly.
Oh my God, that's.
Yeah.
I hope the NSA is recording this. Good.
I haven't written my letter to Osanta yet, so so be careful.
Guys, so this is a huge pack up for me, and Hippo won't care, but the rest of the people might care a little bit. So, as we've discussed previously on the show, my regular go-to is John Jameson's Irish whiskey. It's a personal favorite of mine. Obviously, not the best whiskey in the world, but the everyday consumption, because you can't do the expensive stuff every day, especially when you're on the unemployment train. But I found out today, and I did not know this, that there is an 18-year Jameson, a delicious, aged, expensive bottle. I've been drinking Jameson for a decade, and I didn't know that they had an aged, expensive version. That is a massive pack up, and I'm a little bit emo about it. So my question, A, to you guys, and B, to everyone in the thread, and more importantly to the people that think that we're just a bunch of alcoholic kids, is if you can go for the expensive sauce, right? You're not just at home boozing it up, but you're going, yo, it's classy. I'm celebrating my KTF win tonight. What do you guys grab onto to drink? The expensive stuff, or if you're a non-drinker, what is your go-to celebratory move? Like a place you go to dinner or something like that.
Oh, I can answer that one. To go to dinner, you get some orange juice, plain.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's your celebratory drink. Some Orenthal James.
some Orenthal.
Calm
James.
down, Hippo. Calm down.
I know. I'm getting a little. Pardon me. It's the J talking.
I don't want to. I don't
Look at this pulp, the saucy pulp.
I was gonna ask. I don't want to spill all your secrets. But I mean, with or without pulp when you're celebrating.
I mean, you gotta go. If you're in a party mood, you don't have time to swallow that pulp. You gotta go no pulp. If you're celebrating, you gotta go no pulp. You know what? If you're in the morning, you're like, you know what? You can digest it along with your breakfast. You got a little pulp.
Fly. What's your favorite classy drink? Your expensive celebratory booze?
Man, I like to switch it up, so I go to different things. I think I've gone some. God, I don't even know.
Okay.
I'm trying to think through
Bill
like.
that fly, just whatever will go down his throat in liquid form. He's
No.
like sent it over.
I actually have.
He's
very...
probably drinking the amber from Jurassic Park.
He's just got a bottle of rubbing alcohol, and he's like,
Oh,
look at this.
Wait, hey Jack.
Yeah.
You remember how we were talking about how you kind of look like the Jewish character from The League?
Yeah.
You know, if Mike dyed his hair and put on glasses, Mike would look exactly like him.
That's true, dude. Mike,
Ruxin?
you're Jew,
You saying
man.
I look like Ruxin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you kidding
Dude,
me?
are me and Mike long lost cousins? Mike, do you got a little Jew in you?
I have no Jew in me, and I would
Oh,
not
damn.
want a little Jew in me.
That's,
Wow,
damn.
dude, that's racist.
That's fucked up. Until you've ridden the kosher rocket, don't knock that shit.
Hey Jack, how's the rest of the seasons of The League? I'm probably about to binge watch that, man.
It's godlike. I would actually say there are some slight moments where the show slows down, but for the most part, I've always found it's actually gotten better as the season's gone on. The show it's funny, man. The League is really quality television comedic
I lost
programming.
interest after like the 4th season.
I'm sure other people have too, but maybe I'm just a child, but I find it really funny.
I mean, it's very childish humor, so I get it, but
It's literally a bunch of guys that just do League, and it's just a story of their misadventures, and it's funny.
It's nothing but dick jokes the entire.
And that's
30
why it's
minutes.
awesome.
It's so funny.
I still think that one of the funniest movies of the last 10 years, from a purely comedic standpoint, not like a specific type of humor, dark humor or deep, whatever, just childish, whatever. This is just, you're going to laugh and there's nothing else to the story, is Superbad. I think that movie is absolutely
I
a
agree.
golden script.
Actually-
and that's a childish-ass movie, but I thought it was really funny.
I agree.
That movie literally has a book full of penises.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. I believe, what's the porn site at the beginning? The Vagtastic Voyage or something? Like, I was dying. That movie is
That's a
really,
funny one.
really funny. And here's why I like it. What's awesome about it, you know how whenever you're watching a movie and they're trying to, recreate what teenagers talk like, but this is what Hollywood teenagers talk like this isn't real? Superbad is what teenagers talk like. They're unbearably vulgar, and every other word out of their mouths is something that you would never say within 100 yards of an adult. And in Superbad, they just go fucking ham. That's
Yeah.
why I always thought it was really funny.
Well, I like Michael Cera and This Is the End. You guys see that?
Oh, where he's a douchebag?
I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Apparently, he's actually a douchebag in real life, so he was actually just playing himself.
It's a movie about the end of the world and like Armageddon happens.
Oh,
and
have
shit.
you not seen it? It's basically Seth Rogen, James Franco. They all play themselves. Like they're just they actually call each other James, Seth, and it's basically them in the apocalypse.
That's cool.
It's
pretty funny. It's 100% a pro movie.
And Michael Cera is like the biggest d-bag you've ever seen. And
That would be impressive if he does something different, because I've never seen that movie, but every other movie I've seen Michael Cera in, he's literally
A
the
little bit.
exact same person.
dude, he's like
Yeah.
he's so different. He's like doing cocaine and like punching people in the face and shit. It's
That's
hilarious.
I think he does. I think he pulls a move on Rihanna in that movie.
He slaps her ass and then she punches him.
Right.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
what an
nice
interesting role reversal.
It's not. Yeah, it's nice. Rihanna.
Why?
I forgot.
Yeah, God, Rihanna. What a dude. What a pack up. I don't.
She got open. I heard she got opened
You-
up.
Yo, what do you guys think about the interview?
Does that
being
count as
pulled
a
from
swing?
theaters?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
What
How-
Dude, he was swinging.
yeah, she had him.
was like,
She
yo,
had him. Yes, dude. She's verbally bodying him. She had him.
in
she
negative. Chris
in the
Brown was
car.
definitely in negative frames, but he went ahead and
That's
swung.
definitely -5 and it swung.
Yeah.
Yo, what about the interview getting canceled?
Getting
That's
pulled from
ridiculous.
theaters.
Absolute garbage. They should
That was so
apologize.
Yeah.
stupid. It was ridiculous.
I actually they leaked the scene that was supposedly the reason why it got banned, and it was literally it started playing Katy Perry's Fireworks in slow motion, and it's got Kim Jong-un on a helicopter shooting a machine gun, and then you see this big ass tank missile flying towards the helicopter, and just slow motion Kim Jong-un just explodes, and apparently that was the reason why the movie got banned.
Like, I don't care about the film. I don't think it was going to be any good. I really didn't care, but kind of, censoring it is garbage.
It is. It makes America
think
look
about this-
bitch.
Yeah, let's think about this too. That movie, which was advertised like a mother, has very famous people in it.
Mhm.
They will make no revenue from this movie ever. They're not going to release it.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
catastrophic loss that must be for Sony.
Yeah, that is a financial.
I heard it was $65 million to produce.
And
No,
that's
it was-
not covering the advertising either.
Yeah.
Probably.
And that's. Take that into perspective, boys. Everyone look at your next paycheck and remember that Sony just wiped their ass with $65 million.
Yep.
It's true.
I mean-
I'm not going to feel bad for them. I'm sorry, but that's
I'm not.
terrible.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not feeling bad.
But no,
for them either.
I'm not
Bad for
sympathizing. I think they're
themselves.
absolute. Yeah, I think they have no spine. But
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
You guys know why
I mean-
though? They canceled it, right?
Because they were getting cyber terrorist threats that were supposedly confirmed to be from North Korea hackers.
Right, but they weren't threatening Sony. They were threatening the movie theaters where they were going to be playing it. So it was the theater's choice
Yeah.
to not play the movie. So Sony really had no choice. The movie theaters
options.
decided not to play it. So what's Sony going to do?
Actually, Sony presented the option to them first.
Absolutely, of course they did. What are they going to? I mean, they have to present the option of the theaters
So
are being terrorized.
we're
video-
falling
no-
into terrorist attacks now that were unconfirmed
Wait.
at first.
wait, no DVD release, no video on demand release. What's
No,
going on?
yeah, everything got pulled completely. Apparently, they're back into the talks of putting it on they're talking with BitTorrent to supposedly release it via BitTorrent, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to go well.
While we are talking on the topic of the Sony money vacuum, I want to know what everyone thinks about this. And for those that don't follow it outside of the podcast, so everyone knows what I'm about to talk about. So Capcom Cup just happened. And by the way, awesome tournament, great moments, and also super shout-outs to my guy Momochi taking that shit down. He's so fucking cool. Momochi is the shit. So, we now have all this confirmation, as we talked about on a previous episode, about Sony basically saying, or Capcom saying Sony is funding Street Fighter V, right? So that's one thing. But two, we now know that next year, Sony is going to try and make Street Fighter grow into the world of esports, and they are throwing $500,000 at Capcom Cup. Like a massive, real world, the esports is legit payout. So my question...
You say a
just
$500,000, like $500K?
Yeah.
Yeah, 500,000.
It
Man, the
wasn't-
esports
But wasn't
is
it
real.
this year earlier? Capcom was about to be bought out. It could be bought out by anyone at that point this year.
Yeah,
Where-
Capcom
where
is
is
definitely bought. They're definitely bought.
Capcom is body
Yeah.
as far as financially goes.
Yeah.
But so yeah,
How are they
fine.
getting the
It's
money, though?
$500,000
Dang.
Sony is kicking in.
Well, Ono basically said Sony's gonna, fit the bill.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
yeah.
So
Maybe it'll
the
be
question-
$435K now that the interview didn't go through.
The
Mhm.
question for the roundtable, the thoughts that I'm hoping for everyone is, I mean, what do you think? We've been talking about this for a while because every time MLG comes up and NRS has been picked up, can fighting games really be esports? Because I know our egos don't want to believe it, but the reality is fighting games get bodied as far as the competitive scene goes, and that's why Dota has $1 million payouts and we have $700 payout tournaments. So, what do you guys think about this, man? Sony stepping up big time and saying we're getting into bed with Street Fighter. We're hitting that shit from the back and the front. It's getting DP'd, and we just want to know if the world can jump on board. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I
think it's
think
awesome.
yeah.
It's yeah.
You go ahead, man. You
Capcom
go ahead.
Cup, okay. This Capcom Cup was done across different majors. It was done across a ton of majors, not only in the United States but in Japan, all over the world. Brazil, they were going all over. Choo-choo, all aboard the hype train. Choo-choo.
Bill Chu got bodied.
Yeah, but anyways, like that was really cool. I mean, a lot of different people got to go and get points. And you have the opportunities to go to a lot of different, and they're not like MLG style majors where, I mean, MLG you saw this year was like, if their organization skills, like if they haven't been doing it for a while, it's garbage. Like what happened with MLG this year. Like, So to have tournaments where it's guys who have been doing it for a long time, you might not agree with the professionalism of what they're doing. You might not agree with the payouts, but it eventually will lead to something big. So if you're a Street Fighter 4 player, there's a lot of initiative to study up and make sure you can compete, because it's not that far out of sight to be a Capcom Cup, person. Like it's not, you can go, as if you have the money to travel and you can go and you can place, you might do it.
How many people entered that tournament?
It was only 16.
It was a 16-man invitational. Meaning you had
Invitational.
5.
I just didn't know how many people were in it overall, like over all the majors.
It was
16 only.
Dude, PR Ballrog, man. I was like, man.
Here's what's awesome about it, in my opinion. Like, yeah, as a player, I should, of course, be biased towards the players. Huge payouts are great. But look at it from a sponsorship standpoint now. This is something where the sponsors go, yo, real rap? Like, we need to get some dudes. We need to fly them to tournaments. Like, it seems like something that this can make sponsorship blow up, and then it can make more players be able to go to more things because the sponsors are trying to get them to qualify, which is good for everyone all the way around, I would think.
I think it's interesting to see if it's like a one-time deal or if this is going to become, a regular thing in the future.
I think it'll possibly become regular. Because in my opinion, out of every fighting game right now, Street Fighter is honestly the only one that can actually be its own esports because of its entire representation. Like, there's a huge international representation. They have the people to like that's what makes other games like Call of Duty and like Dota, League, and even Smite now. There's a huge international representation. People from other countries
Talking about
come
Shite?
here to play. Yeah.
What's that game that GGA Phil Pops plays? Is that Shite?
Shite?
Yeah, like those
Smite.
games, they have huge international representation, and that's the reason why they're alive. And I think Street Fighter, out of every fighting game, has the chance of surviving in esports territory.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, that's the thing. Fighting games are super niche. We'd like to think, Injustice sells 4 million copies or whatever. Mortal Kombat sells 4 million. Blah blah blah. We're a big deal. I mean, the competitive scene is super niche, and people don't watch. You look at the streams for our games, even for Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I mean, 2,000 people watching a Street Fighter tournament is not exactly driving that revenue through the wall to make people want to do it. So I applaud Sony. If they can make it work, who knows what it could mean for, the FGC in general, like for us as NRS players moving forward.
Yeah, and it's a huge step forward. I mean, if they could put that kind of money up, it kind of does things for every other fighting game that couldn't put the money up, right? So if Sony can do that for Street Fighter, it's going to drastically help NRS games. I mean, whether there's 500K or 20K or 1K up there, it's gonna bring more attention to the FGC in general. And we all know MK sells just as many games or more than Street Fighter or any other fighting game. So the player base is there.
MK has a higher casual player count.
Yeah, MK bodies Street Fighter in sales.
Oh, yeah. So if that's there, then they have the competitive scene. And it's just going to bring more awareness to the whole thing. And that'll help, hopefully, the casual players get more serious. So I think it's a good thing overall. I'm glad somebody's putting the money behind it. And I agree with you, HomeLee. It can only be Street Fighter at this point.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Cool Whip, just because, I mean, you're more well-versed in the greater Damascus area than we are. But as we know, obviously, Street Fighter has a huge following internationally. What do you guys have there? Like, I know you have a super small NRS scene. Is it super small fighting games in general, or is there a game that dominates Lebanon?
Well, in Lebanon, it's fighting games in general. It's super small. I would venture a guess and say NRS games, or especially Mortal Kombat, is more played than Street Fighter.
Wow, that's
But if we're
actually
talking-
crazy. That's cool.
Yeah.
Would you
But if
say
we're
you're the
talking
best
about-
player in Damascus?
Mortal Kombat 9, sure. Yeah. Injustice, I don't know. But in MK9, yeah, probably. I don't know. In the area, I've never met somebody who beats me. I guess I'm fishing for props,
God,
but not
love
really,
it,
because
bro.
that's.
Apologize.
Hey, in my defense, I would sometimes pick other characters to make it competitive. I guess that says
It's
a lot about.
this guy. Oh my god, this dude does spin into spin and wants props.
Dude.
No, I'm just this big. I'm a medium-sized fish in a small pond. No, but in all seriousness, as far as Injustice goes, I mean, there are
You
better
even used a
players,
fish analogy.
by the way.
That's such fishing. I can't believe you used a
That
fish
is true.
analogy
Do you
right
like
now.
fish sticks in your mouth?
Well, but wasn't there a time where fish characters are like built,
All right.
or not even built, but fish was like low tier? Is that Tom Brady came up with that? But anyway, to answer your question, in the the greater Middle Eastern area, in the Arab world, if you go to to places like Saudi Arabia and Dubai and stuff like that, no, Street Fighter is definitely. I think there's actually a pretty famous Street Fighter player from Saudi Arabia. I could be wrong,
Thief.
but
Thief, he's from the
Ah.
Emirates.
yeah. Okay, then that's another one, because there's definitely somebody who's from the KSA. But yeah, in the Emirates, especially Street Fighter is pretty commonly played, and there are actually some really good players. Well, relatively really good players.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I was just curious because I think, in general, it's a big deal. Also, as far as fighting games are concerned, I mean, this is Sony saying, Microsoft, you need to step up your game, son. They are throwing down the gauntlet. PS4 is already bodying Xbone. And now in fighting games, Sony's...
No,
Sony's
actually incorrect.
Has
Xbone's
Xbone-
actually been selling more.
they caught up finally?
Yeah, ever since the discounted sales. Plus, I mean, they have Halo going back into esports, and honestly, the payouts are going to be probably
Halo sucks. They have to give away free games to you guys. That game sucks so
Oh.
bad.
First off, they didn't give away free games. That was Ubisoft. Get your back straight.
Are you sure? No. Hold on, no. I just saw an article. Wait,
No,
I just saw
are you
it.
talking about ODST?
hold on. You keep going. You keep talking. I'm going to Google this.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Halo esports is coming back. I mean, Halo is a
Is
very big international game as well. When it was in its prime back in the day, it's probably going to get bigger with Halo 5 coming out.
Is
That
Halo
beta looked really sick.
is the older games
God,
coming
I-
back?
Huh?
Are the older Halo games coming back now with the Xbox One release and stuff?
They're already back.
I mean, are they? I don't see anybody on my friends list playing them. I guess
You saw me playing it.
I don't ever
He
see you
doesn't
online.
count. You don't count.
Okay, well, I mean, I've been playing with Arma. I know Sickness plays. By the way, I body all of them in Halo, so.
In casuals, I'm sure you do.
In the Halo casual.
Every
Guys,
match
I have
is a casual
I have a
match.
two-part question.
What's up?
Well, first of all, did any of you watch the third Hobbit film?
I have not. I plan to next week, though.
Alright, well-
Can you pay me $300?
Can I pay you why $300?
Because you could pay that, and I would wipe my ass, and I would still would
Oh.
not see.
All right, then have you seen the Lord of the Rings film?
I mean, I've seen them.
All right, fine. So the question is, who would you main in a Middle Earth-based fighting game?
So that would be the worst fighting game ever.
Get out of
Oh,
here. Whoa,
get
are
outta
you
here,
blowing up
dude.
Lord of the Rings, dude.
Hold on now, dude.
You
The
are
Hobbit-
treading on thin
Yeah.
ice, my friend.
Yo.
Dude, no. You just went out of bounds.
I did not.
You absolutely did.
The only
I did
person
not.
in the world who agrees with you about jobber status in Lord of the Ring is 16-bit. I'm sorry you're 16-bit junior, but
Now, hang on,
Oh.
wait, hang on. I don't think it's jobber status. I just think the world, the lore, is boring.
Oh my
Oh.
god, dude. In a historical event, I am going to blow up 16-bit and say his opinion in movies apparently sucks. The
Yeah,
Lord
he
of the
thinks-
Rings trilogy.
He thinks the movies are crap, which I don't agree with. I just think the world is like kind of boring. Like I'm playing Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor right now. I could care less about all this lore. It's so boring.
I haven't played that.
It's
But
absolutely
actually,
phenomenal.
Shadow
Not
of
the game,
Mordor is
but-
actually off lore. It has nothing to do with the lore, actually.
So hold that.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't. I'm pretty sure Italian actually didn't exist.
No,
Get
Well, I know that.
Reborn. Get Everything Born. I actually think he did create the rings, but this is like a different way of telling the story.
Hold on? Are we counting the books and the movies in right now? Cool with?
yeah. Well, yeah. I'm mainly basing this on the movies, but yeah, sure.
Oh, well, I mean, there's a character that I would main, but he is not in the movies, which is a huge pack up that he wasn't
Oh.
in. So that.
All right, so give us two characters, one in the books and one in the movies.
All right. Well, if we're going with the actual lore from the books, I would main Tom Bombadil because he is fucking awesome.
Of course.
And that is a huge pack up that he's not there. If I was maining someone that actually got some play and some love in the movies, it would probably be Gimli. I mean, dwarves are fucking tight, dude. Give me a fucking big old axe and a big beard and let me go balls to the wall. Gimli would be awesome.
So just give you an axe,
Probably.
it'll be alright.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I would main Legolas. Probably good zoning with really good close-up combat.
Too
So
strong.
basically, a
then-
better version of Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, with footsies.
Okay.
And then I'd honestly, even though Talion doesn't exist in the lore, I would definitely main him. I liked him as a character.
Dude, am I the only one that like thinks Lord of the Rings is kind of a Bill in the movies?
You're
Dude,
a
did you
huge
just
Bill.
hear what Hippo? Oh my god,
You're-
you two are giving me.
You
Oh
and
my
Hippo
god.
just gave me syphilis.
Wait, hang
Non-sexually
on.
transmitted syphilis.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Hippo,
I didn't say
you-
the movies
I think
were bad.
Cool Whip just hung up on the call.
Did
I
he
didn't
really?
say the
Oh my
movies were
God.
bad. I think they're really good. I just think the world, like outside of those, is like who cares?
Like-
Like Hobbit, like it's so boring.
The Hobbit movies are absolutely terrible.
I haven't seen the Hobbit movies.
Whoa.
Okay, so maybe you
I
should get on my
wouldn't say
level.
they're Terrible.
No. Here's why I'm not on your level, because I'm an absolute Lord of the Rings nerd. I won't even tell you guys how many times I've read both The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and The Silmarillion. Hold that. If you guys haven't read that, then you don't know what the Lord of the Rings
I
Bible
don't
is
read
all
those
about.
books. That's
Yeah,
stupid.
that's why I haven't seen. It took me like 5 years after the Lord of the Rings movies were done for me to be like, okay, I guess I'll finally watch them, so I don't get my heart broke. Like it took forever
Like
for me to actually get on board.
I enjoyed
if I'm
the
gonna-
original movies when they came out. I can't get into it anymore, man. They're just so ridiculous. The lore, the length, it's 3 hours
If
I'll
I
never
want
get
my
back.
yeah, if I want my medieval fix, I'll probably go to Game of Thrones. But I like the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't think The Hobbit's very good. I just think like the background and stuff. It's just not that like.
I
it's
have
just-
actually heard that the Hobbit movies are huge bills too. I
I'm
haven't
with
seen
Hippo
them yet.
on this. It's terrible.
You're terrible.
However, if I were to play a fighting game, there's two characters. I would either play as Eowyn, 'cause she's cool,
She is cool.
or Grima Wormtongue.
All right, I respect those choices. Very nice.
I couldn't name a Lord of the Rings character right now to save my life. So
See, now that's
Hold on,
back.
you couldn't name Gandalf?
Ew.
Like, dude, super
Frodo.
famous. Yeah,
Frodo.
Bilbo? Come on.
not one I want to main. I mean, fucking Frodo. No thanks.
Dude, Aragorn's tight. He would probably be super popular.
I couldn't have named that one until you said it. Sorry.
Oh my god, pack
Dude.
up.
Gandalf I
Pretty
could have
sure
named.
Gollum would be broke.
Golem I could do. Yeah, I could main Golem.
Dude, does anyone remember the character? This is where the nerdiness gets strong, because I don't know if he's in the movies or not. Does anyone remember Bjorn? Is he in the movies?
Bjorn?
He's the,
I know.
he's the
She-
dude that can turn into a bear. Is he
Wait,
in the
isn't
movies?
isn't she an Icelandic singer?
That's Bjork.
Oh,
That's Bill Orr.
Oh, wait, turn into a bear? Yeah, I think he was in The Hobbit, actually.
He is okay. I know. No, he's in the Hobbit books. I just don't know if he's in the movies or not.
Yeah, I think he was in the. I forgot if he was in the first one or second one, but I know he's in one of them.
He'd be tight. I mean, dude could turn into a bear. The stance changes, man. Seriously, Cool Whip is gone.
Oh,
Does
that
mean we need
sounds
to package?
tight. I like stance changes.
Yeah, I bet you do. HomeLee, you want to fucking wrap this package before you go in balls deep?
Oh, I'm actually about to go play Xbox.
Yeah, that's why you need to wrap this package.
talking
Alrighty,
about
thank you for joining us on another episode of Consider the Following. I hope this makes it into the podcast roundup thread. Yeah. We'll be back next week. Unless we have another week-long delay.
That was a terrible outro. You're fired. Huge bill.
I think apologies.
In order,
sorry.
all the way around.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Thought the
That's
show was
cool.
pretty good, though.
Not bad, HomeLee. Not bad at all.
Dude, I got to debut the I Don't Care song.
I'm going to assume that Cool Whip had his fucking power cut out or whatever.
Yeah, me
ISIS
too.
crashed a
That's
bomb
awesome.
into him. He has that 10-minute window.
The Taliban just attacked another school.
Yeah, he's back online now. I'm not dying of AIDS, so
I remember when the planets died. I remember worlds on fire. I remember clearly telling you goodbye. Pretty girl in black. Cemetery stones and back. I keep that picture close to me, 'cause I will never be the coping type. Outer space will do just fine. Separate us until the end of time. How do you sleep at night? I have to hit the bottle just to try. I need you or I won't survive. 'Cause I remember when the planet